On a 65-degree evening, we welcome you back to Sinsheimer Stadium for SLO Blues baseball. Tonight, the Blues welcome in the Humboldt Crabs for Game 1 of a 3-game series. For the first time in a couple of weeks, we can finally say that the Blues are really home. After SLO started CCL play with 6 of its first 8 games on the road, today is not only Game 1 against the Crabs, it's Game 1 of a season-long 9-game homestand. The Blues get to sleep in their own beds for a couple of weeks and can let the thought of a long bus ride leave their minds for the next 9 games. Today, San Luis Obispo also gets a break from CCL play. After a 3-5 league start, the Blues get to refresh with some non-league play. On the docket is the Humboldt Crabs, the oldest continually running collegiate summer baseball program in the country. The Crabs enter SLO off of a cross-state trip and get their second shot at a CCL opponent in 2023. Humboldt was swept in a shellfish matchup against the Walnut Creek Crawdads earlier this week. In a matchup between two of the most storied summer teams in America, Dean Traynor will hand the ball to former Crab lefty Marcelo Saldana. Humboldt will counter with UC Davis right-hander Alejandro Huezo. Can the Blues grab a win to open the homestand, or will the Crabs grab Game 1? Find out next with first pitch upcoming on the SLO Blues streaming network. As we welcome you into the broadcast booth, I'm Jack Smith. Nate Mills will join me in the fourth. We'll be taking you through all the games in this homestand, and it feels nice to be back at Sinsheimer Stadium. No bus ride to the game today. Got to wake up, spend my day in the morning, and come out here and cover Blues baseball. It is a 6:05 first pitch coming up here on the SLO Blues streaming network as the Blues look to get back in the win column after a tough series earlier this week against the Arroyo Seco Saints, where they were swept in 2 games, a home and home. So 1 game here at Sinsheimer, 1 game in Pasadena. The Blues lost both. Play was kind of sloppy, but now they get a chance to refresh themselves non-league play where they went 7-2 in the preseason. So trying to get back to their winning ways here at Sinsheimer Stadium. They've got 9 home games to do so. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back for the national anthem and first pitch. Your San Luis Obispo Blues are taking the field, which means just one thing. Baseball is on tap here on the SLO Blues streaming network. It's Blues and Crabs Game 1. National Anthem is right on the way, and we'll let you take a listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem is being sung for us this evening by Christy Rogan Ward. We would ask you to please stand and remove your caps. Christy?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the lands of the free and the home of the brave?
Christy Rogan Ward with a beautiful national anthem here at Sinsheimer Stadium, and just like that, we're ready for first pitch. Here's the starting lineup for the Humboldt Crabs, who traveled across the state for this three-game series. Leading things off, it's Mike McKernan, the center fielder from Fresno State. Wyatt Reginato, the right fielder from Fulton Lake College, bats second. Colby Lunsford, the second baseman from Consumnes River, plays second base, bats third. Billy Ham cleans things up, the first baseman from Nevada. He's followed by Griffin Myers, who has a .486 batting average and 2 home runs from Washington State, the 5-hitter. Luke Reese, the shortstop from CSU San Marcos, hits 6th and plays short. Javier Felix, the third baseman from CSUN, is in the 7th spot, and at 8 and 9 is Peyton Miller, the left fielder from the University of the Pacific, and Cubby Cortez, the designated hitter from Sacramento State. On the hill for the Blues, it's former Crab Marcelo Saldana. The 6-foot, 190-pound left-hander from CSU Bakersfield has thrown 1 2/3 innings so far for the Blues, giving up 1 hit, no earned runs, as he got a save in the second game against Orange County. He had a phenomenal summer last year with Humboldt, and now he throws lefty against his former team. Saldana, a 1.89 ERA in 47 2/3 innings for Humboldt. 7 wins across 9 starts for the Crabs. As the Blues are decked out in the yellow uniforms, brand new here in 2023. White numbers with the navy trim. Same thing with the lettering across the front. White pants, the navy stirrup socks for this Blues lineup that'll face the Crabs today in game 1 of 3. So as Saldana finishes warming up, the Blues just about to start their second of 4 3-game series here in 2023. They already played one against the Solano Mudcats in a non-league matchup. They've got this one and 2 others to follow this summer. Jake Bold behind the plate gives the signal, is ready to throw down and just about get this one started here at Sinsheimer Stadium. Crabs, Blues, 2 of the most storied programs in collegiate summer ball in the entire country. 1945 when the Crabs were founded. 1 year after that, the Blues. These 2 teams have been around for a while, and we're just about ready to get this one started on the SLO Blues streaming network. Stepping up to the dish, it's Mike McKernan, the center fielder from Fresno State. He'll lead things off. He's followed by Wyatt Reginato and Colby Lunsford here in the first inning. McKernan, a .289 average so far this summer for the center fielder from Fresno State. Also, he has a home run, 9 runs batted in, as Saldana deals and hits the zone with strike 1 on the fastball. It's no balls and 1 strike. First pitch, just a minute late, 6:06 p.m., 66-degree night, with not a single cloud in the sky in San Luis Obispo. 0-1. And McKernan pops it up. On the infield, it's going to be the second baseman, DeCarlo, who now ranges towards the bag and makes the catch for the first out. Here's the defense for your San Luis Obispo Blues today. It's Rulli in left, Burns in center, Corona in right field. On the right side of the infield, Trimble and DeCarlo. Left side is Hardy and Hansen. Bold is in the squat. behind home plate, and Zach Tullerman gets the DH nod. So the batter now is Wyatt Reginato from Folsom Lake College as Saldana deals to the lefty, and Reginato takes upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Reginato has a .429 average so far this year. 6 doubles, 12 runs batted in. 1-0 on the way. And Reginato takes strike 1 on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Crabs are littered with 300 averages, 400 averages, as they sit 10-4 in summer play so far. 1-1. And Reginato takes on the outside corner. Strike 2 called. Reginato from Folsom Lake College. This past season hit .369 with 53 runs batted in. 1-2. That's outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Reginato has hit well over 300 in both seasons with the Falcons. He'll be a junior next year. 6'1", 215-pound left-hand hitter. As Saldana from the windup kicks and deals. And Reginato takes a little bit high. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The count goes full. 65 hits in 45 games for Reginato this past season. Payoff on the way. And he laces it down the right field line. It's dropping just down the line as the right fielder Corona corrals it and tosses it in. It's a 1-out single for Wyatt Reginato, the first hit today. So Reginato just continues to hit for average, bumping it up from .429, and he's aboard with 1 out here in the first inning. The batter now, Colby Lunsford, second baseman from Consumnes River, .366 average for Lunsford so far this summer. 2 home runs, 8 runs batted in. Reginato gets his lead off first as Saldana now works from the stretch for the first time. With a deep breath, he strides and shoots. And that's way high. 1 ball and no strikes. Lunsford playing second base today. Right-handed hitter, 5'11", 185-pound junior from Consumnes River. Transferred there from Sacramento State. Saldana ready. He kicks and deals. And a big swing and a miss at the top of the zone. 1 ball and 1 strike. So an even count, 1-1 on Lunsford, with Reginato leading off first. Good speed for the right fielder on the first base bag. He's held on there by Justin Trimble. Saldana readies. 1-1. Is a little bit inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. The start of the Blues' longest remaining homestand on the schedule. 9 straight games here at Sinsheimer Stadium over the next couple weeks. They want to start it off with a win. Crabs have a runner aboard here in the first inning. Lunsford ahead in the count 2-1. Waits on the Saldana pitch. Here it is. That's inside as well. 3 balls and 1 strike. Saldana came in that game against the Orange County Riptide late after Lucas Alanis threw 128 pitches. And he helped out his best friend on the team and picked up a 1.2 innings pitched save. Here his second appearance. 3-1 is in the dirt. It's a 1-out walk. There's runners at first and second with 1 away. So Lunsford takes the base on balls. Not too many hard takes in the at-bat. And now there's 2 runners aboard for the first inning here for the Humboldt Crabs. And the batter will be Billy Ham. Gaudy numbers for the first baseman from Nevada. .488 batting average. 1 home run, 12 runs batted in. He's got a chance to add to that total with a runner in scoring position here with just 1 out. Saldana delivers. And that's a fastball on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike as Ham takes that pitch right on the corner. Ham, a 143 average this past year at Nevada. A Nevada native from Las Vegas, 6'2", 210-pound left-hand hitter. In a lefty-lefty matchup, Saldana trying to roll a ground ball or get a strikeout. 0-1 on the way. And Ham takes it right down the middle. Looks like the changeup. No balls and 2 strikes. Ham was the top third baseman coming out of Nevada, out of high school. Went to Bishop Gorman, an absolute athletics powerhouse from Las Vegas. Struggled this past year for the Wolfpack, but he's killing it so far for the Crabs. 0-2, runner takes off for third. The pitch is outside and no throw from Bold. First and third with one out, and that was a great jump from Wyatt Reginato from second. So now you've got a potential run standing 90 feet away for a run producer in Billy Ham as the Crabs look to take the first lead here in this game. Double play still intact as Lunsford didn't trail from first. Another 2-strike offering, and Ham takes outside. Fastball again, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Saldana had 4 strikeouts of the 5 outs he recorded when he came in that game against the Riptide. And one would be big here with a runner at third, less than 2 outs. 2-2, and Ham pops it foul. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ham, the business major, will be a redshirt sophomore next year at Nevada. 28 at-bats this past year, had 4 hits, 2 of them extra bases, a double and a triple. 2-2. And Ham strikes out swinging. Curveball in the dirt as Bold runs to collect it. There's no play at first with the runner still there. It's a big strikeout, the first of the day for Marcelo Saldana. Ham down fishing on the curveball. Another run producer coming up. It's Griffin Myers, the catcher from Washington State. 486 average. 2 home runs, 13 runs batted in to lead the lineup. So Saldana going through the gauntlet here in the first and has a chance to get out of it scoreless, 1 out away. With the left-handed hitting Myers stepping to the plate. It's Reginato at third. He stole. Lunsford is at first. As Saldana kicks and deals, runner takes off for second. Bold's going to throw all the way down. It is on the money, but bounces into center field. Reginato comes in to score. Lunsford up into third, and a run scores on the errant throw. Crabs lead it here early. It's 1-0 from Sinsheimer Stadium as Bold tried to gun out the runner to end the inning, and it just bounced by the shortstop Hardy as the Blues defense is causing them issues once again. Pitch was a ball as well. 1-0 is popped up into right field as Corona chases into the gap. He gives way to Nin Burns, who makes the catch. But it's the Blues defense that allows the Crabs to get on the board. 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the first inning. Welcome you back to Sinsheimer Stadium in San Luis Obispo. Here's the order for the Blues here today. It's Nin Burns leading it off for the 3rd straight game, the center fielder from Cal Poly Pomona. Jacob Ruley, the left fielder from CSU Bakersfield, bats second. It's the reigning CCL South Offensive Player of the Week, Theo Hardy, the shortstop from San Jose State, who bats third. Emilio Corona, big slugger from Arizona, in the cleanup spot. Zach Tollerman DHs after hits in his last 2 games. The DH from Cuesta College hits 5th. Justin Trimble, the first baseman from UCSB, hits 6th. Then rounding out the bottom third of the order, Jason Hansen from UC Davis, Jake Bold, the catcher from Princeton, and Sam DiCarlo, the sophomore second baseman from the University of Washington. On the hill for the Humboldt Crabs is Alejandro Hueso, the 6'1", 200-pound right-hand arm from UC Davis, as he prepares to face the top of the order for the Blues, who trail it by 1 here in the bottom of the first. As Hueso spots up a fastball in the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Hueso has not given up a run so far this summer. 2 innings pitched, no hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts. 0-1. And Burns swings and misses at the top of the zone. No balls and 2 strikes. Burns a 286 average in league play. 5 walks. He's stolen 9 bags if you combine the entire summer. Your perfect leadoff guy if you're a Dean Trainer. But a 0-2 count. The pitch, and Burns takes it outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Huezo had a 6.38 earned run average in 55 innings pitched this past year as a freshman at UC Davis. Ahead in the count, 1-2. Here's the pitch to Burns. And Burns flares it into left field. Going back is Miller, and in front of the track, he lunges up to make the catch for the first out. Ball carried here today, and that's what you're going to get on fly balls to left field. In batting practice, the ball was just whizzing out to left field. Anything that got in the air was being carried by the wind, and I think Miller learned that on that fly ball. But there's 1 out. So the batter now, Jacob Ruley, the left fielder from CSU Bakersfield. 286 average, 2 runs batted in. Flashback, though, to non-league play for Ruley. He had 6 hits, 5 runs batted in. 0-0. And Ruley swings and misses. No balls and 1 strike. Another great crowd on hand here at home for the Blues. They've been drawing fans like crazy as San Luis Obispo showing up. And Humboldt traveling as well. Maybe the last time that the Crabs are here at Sinsheimer for a while. The Blues went to Humboldt last year, and we're told the Crabs this might be the end of the series, and Humboldt stepped up, says, can we still come to your place next year? And here they are, 3-game series, and the fans have come as well. 1-1. And Ruley pops it up into right. Heading back is Reginato. He's got a beat on it and makes the catch for the second out. So 2 flyouts for the Blues, and here comes Theo Hardy. Hardy, the CCL South hitter of the week for his performance last week. 3 dominant games, including the 5-for-5 day against the Orange County Riptide. He showed up, and he showed up swinging for the Blues out of San Jose State. Just mashed the ball all of last week, hitting .429 so far for the summer for the Blues. As he nubs this one down the third base line, and the Crabs were thinking about letting it roll foul, but they pick it up, and Hardy's got himself another base hit. It's a trickler, but it counts as Hardy keeps adding to the batting average. He's aboard at first base with 2 outs here in the first. It seemed like Felix, the third baseman, wanted to see if that was going to roll foul, but from where Huezo was looking, I don't think he thought it was going to roll foul. So he went over, picked it up, and there was no play for him to get Hardy at first. With Hardy's speed out of the left-hand batter's box and how slow that was hit. So the batter will be Emilio Corona, making his home debut for the Blues. The slugger from Arizona, OPS over 1,000 this past year for the Wildcats. He went 0-for-3 in his debut against the Saints as he takes a fastball for a strike, 0-1. Corona this past year for the Wildcats, 336 average. He also had 11 home runs, 4th on the team in runs batted in and slugging. 0-1 as Corona chases, swings and misses on that outside slider. No balls and 2 strikes. Corona was privy a little bit to the strikeout. 46 Ks in 38 games played. He struck out a couple of times in his debut. Was hit by a pitch and scored a run, though. With Hardy at first, an 0-2 count on the cleanup hitter for the Blues. Huezo kicks and deals, and Corona taps it foul. Still no balls and 2 strikes. Hardy's got some speed. We'll see if he tries to put pressure on the Crabs' defense, which is how Humboldt scored a run against the Blues in the first, as Reginato stole third, and then the trail runner Lunsford tried to steal second a couple pitches later, and Jake Bull threw it into center and allowed Reginato to come in and score. Another 0-2, and Corona takes. Ball 1 on the outside corner. The entire Crabs defense thought that was strike 3, but they got to stay on the field. It's a 1 ball and 2 strike count. Corona may have gotten a gift with that call. So Huezo back from the stretch. Kicks and deals 1-2. And Corona takes another fastball high. This one looked a little further out of the zone, out of the hand of Huezo. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So 2-2 the count, 2 outs with a runner at first. That's Theo Hardy after his trickler single. 2-2 on the way. And Corona pops it up straight back, heading towards the press box and off the merchandising tent. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes as Corona sent that one as a souvenir to the fans. thought it would have had a chance to make a play, but was not hit quite far enough or low enough. And the count, still 2 balls and 2 strikes on Emilio Corona. Hueso looking to put away the cleanup man from Arizona. He kicks and deals. Hardy takes off, and Corona hits a high fly ball to center. McKernan heads back. He's still racing to the track, to the wall. He jumps, and it bounced off the wall. Hardy comes in to score. Corona into third. A stand-up triple, and the Blues are on the board. That ball just kept carrying on the center fielder McKernan, and so far away, he jumped. It looked like he made the catch from here, but then he played it off the wall, and the Blues never stopped running. Corona's at third, and the Blues tie this thing up 1-1 here in the bottom of the first. So after Hueso thought he had strike 3 and an 0-2 count, Corona battles and comes up with the triple to tie things up in the first as the Blues get a hit with a runner on. Here's Zach Tollerman, now a chance to potentially take the lead for the Blues, as Tollerman takes a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Corona hit that ball, and it looked like it was just a routine fly to center, but McKernan never stopped on the move, as that's in there, strike 2, and just couldn't catch up with it all the way to the deepest part of the yard in center field, just about 393 feet. Couldn't make the catch. 0-2, and Tollerman takes it upstairs, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tollerman, 3 hits in his last 2 games combined, has bumped up his league average to 286, also drew 12 walks in non-league games. 1-2. He takes strike 3 call on the outside corner. Hueso does get the strikeout to end the inning, but not before Emilio Corona ties things up with an RBI triple. As we head to the top of the second, it is 1-1 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Welcome back to Blues Baseball on the SLO Blues streaming network. After 1, it is 1-1 between the Crabs and the Blues as Marcelo Saldana heads back out there against his former team. Luke Reese, Javier Felix, and Peyton Miller, 6, 7, 8, due up in the Crabs lineup. The Blues tied things up, all with 2 outs on a Theo Hardy little ground ball single that was hit about 20 feet, and then Emilio Corona hit one about 390 for his first hit, a triple that knocked in the run to tie this thing up at 1 ball at 1-1 apiece. Luke Reese, the shortstop from CSU San Marcos, carrying a 480 batting average, steps in, and the 1-0 from Saldana is low. 2 balls and no strikes. Reese has 3 doubles, 9 runs batted in so far for the Crabs this summer. As Bold kicks some dirt away, puts down the sign. Here's the 2-0. Reese takes strike 1 call on the outside corner. Luke Reese, 5'11", 160-pound redshirt junior from Cal State San Marcos, the 2-1. As Reese takes another fastball, same spot, same result, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Reese has hit well above 300 in each of his playing seasons at San Marcos. 393 in 2022, 341 last year. 2-2 as Reese pokes it on the ground into right field. It's a base hit. The contact hitter strikes again, hitting nearly 500. He's got a leadoff single here in the second. So with Reese aboard, the batter will be Javier Felix, the third baseman from CSUN. And this is where things start to tail off a little bit more for the Crabs lineup. Everyone in the first 6 is hitting well above 300. And you've got the 480s, the 488s. Javier Felix hitting 182 so far this summer. 2 doubles, though, 4 runs batted in. Saldana, the lefty, working from the stretch with Reese at first. A long hold, he kicks and deals. And Felix takes outside. 1 ball and no strikes. 3-game non-league series for the Blues, who had a tough week earlier this week, losing both games to Arroyo Seco. Now they get to refresh with this series against the Crabs. Saldana picks and throws it past the first baseman Trimble, all the way into right field off the facing of the bullpen. Reese taking the big turn. Here's the throw from Corona to third. It is on the money, but not in time. That's a 180-foot mistake by Saldana. Runner at third, nobody out here in the second inning. So the Blues tie things up, but then Saldana just lobbed it over the head of Trimble, who's a tall guy to throw it over, at least 6'4". But it's the error that allows the runner to move up to third base, and that's been the theme for the Blues recently. Just the sloppy defense has allowed them to fall behind in games they can't come back from. As Felix flies it to center, should be deep enough to score Reese from third. It carries on Burns, who spots up, now makes the catch. He unloads a throw to home. It's a good throw, but not in time as Reese makes it in safe by a mile. It is 2-1 Humboldt here in the second. So the error really allows the run to come home as Saldana shakes his head as he walks back to the mound. Sac fly from Javier Felix, his 5th RBI of the year. It's 2-1 Crabs. Sacrifice fly for the 7-hole hitter. Here's Peyton Miller batting in the 8th spot, the left fielder from the University of the Pacific. 250 average, 2 runs batted in. 1 out, nobody on as Miller taps it towards third. The third baseman Hansen gives ground, throws across his body in time for the out. So Saldana, it really is just a fault of his own. The throw over the head of Trimble allows the runner to move to third. Next pitch, Felix hits the sac fly. And the Blues, who had to work hard with 2 outs to tie the game, are now behind again. It's been the theme of these past couple weeks. Outside of those 2 games against Orange County, the Blues have just been trailing early. And it's been harder for them to come back. As Cubby Cortez takes a strike on the inside corner. No balls and 1 strike on the DH from Sacramento State. 280 average, 3 runs batted in. 0-1 as Cortez takes it low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Saldana's got 2 outs, nobody on. He kicks and deals 1-1. And Cortez takes it upstairs. 2 balls and 1 strike. Trying to finish the second, keep the damage at just the 1 run. With the top of the order, Mike McKernan on deck. Here's the pitch. As Cortez rips a liner right into the glove of Hardy, the shortstop, for the final out. Another run for the Crabs on the single and the error by Marcelo Saldana. Then the sac fly. It is 2-1 Humboldt as we head to the bottom of the second. Blues are coming back up in the second inning. It's bottom 2, and the batter will be Justin Trimble, the first baseman from UCSB. He's followed by Jason Hansen and Jake Bull here in the Blues' second ups of the game. It's 2-1 Crabs after they've scored 1 run in each of the first 2 innings. As Trimble beats a grounder towards short. In comes the shortstop, Reese, fields it on the forehand and throws out Trimble by a couple of steps. 1 out. So Trimble, who went 0 for 4 in his Blues debut, is retired on 1 pitch. The batter now, Jason Hansen. Hansen, the third baseman from UC Davis, playing in the field once again after DHing to open the season. 167 average in league play for Jason Hansen. He's got 2 runs batted in. Had a couple of triples to end non-league play in the series against the Solano Mudcats that were really important in the Blues winning that lone 3-game series on the schedule in non-league play. 1-0 the count on Hansen. The pitch. And Hansen takes the changeup in there. Strike 1 called. 1 ball and 1 strike. I talk to Jason Hansen every day during batting practice, especially after off days. Question's the same every time as he rolls it to short. In comes Reese again. Another easy play and an easy throw to get the second out here in the inning. I always ask Hansen, hey, what'd you do with your off day? And he said, yeah, went to Costco. But he told me this time he forgot the orange juice. So maybe that's the reason for the ground down is no OJ for Jason Hansen. So 2 early ground balls here in the second. The Blues went quickly for the first 2 outs in the first as well, but then the soft hit single by Theo Hardy and the loud contact triple from Emilio Corona put them on the board. Here's Jake Bold, who takes a fastball on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. So anyone, if you're listening, maybe try and find Jason Hansen's address and send him some orange juice. As Bold rolls it on the ground to third. Felix gives ground. Throw across the diamond is in time. 3 groundouts for the Blues in the second. As it's 2-1 as we head to the top of the third.
2-1. It's time for the trivia game.
Top of the order, due up for the Humboldt Crabs here in the top of the third inning. It's McKernan, Reginato, and Lunsford due up against Marcelo Saldana as the Crabs still lead it by a score of 2-1 through 2 full here at Sinsheimer Stadium. McKernan to lead things off, popped out his first time up. That started the ball game. Saldana from the windup kicks and deals, and McKernan takes it low, 1 ball and no strikes. A single run in each of the first 2 innings for the Crabs. Reginato, who's on deck, singled in the first, came around to score on an error. As there's a strike on the outside corner. Similar story in the second inning as Luke Reese, who let things off, singled and then moved up 180 feet as Saldana tossed a pickoff move down the first base line, and Reese scored on the next pitch, a sac fly to left. 1-1. And McKernan takes strike 2 called on the inside corner. 1-2 the count. Blues went 7-2 in non-league games in the preseason. This is their first since then after a 3-5 start to league play, and they get another chance for non-conference matchups. 1-2. And McKernan beats it on the ground towards short. Redemption chance for Hardy. He throws across his body in time for the out. So with one down, here's Wyatt Reginato, who's 1 for 1 with a single. Reginato, a career .357 hitter at West Valley High School in Cottonwood, California. Played 64 games, had 47 runs batted in. Eventually, used his talents, got a chance to play at Folsom Lake College, where he's played for 2 seasons. Oh, and Reginato takes it low. 1 ball and no strikes. That was the big curveball from Saldana. One of the first we've seen today as he worked through the second part of the order for the first time. Second outing for Saldana this summer. 1-0. As Reginato bounces it back up the middle, right off the mound, and Reginato's 2 for 2. He's at first base with 1 out. So 2 singles for the right fielder from Folsom Lake College, and with a runner on, here comes Colby Lunsford. Reginato seeing it out of the hand of Saldana well. 2 lefty-lefty hits, and Lunsford, who walked in his first plate appearance, comes up the second baseman from Consumnes River. Blues trying to get back to their winning ways. It's been a tough week so far with 2 losses to the Arroyo Seco Saints, who they dominated last year. Already more wins for the Saints against the Blues here in 2023 than there were all of the 2022 summer. But now a non-league matchup, a 3-game series for the Blues, a chance to get their heads, the bats, the arms right. Oh, and Lunsford lines it foul off the top of the netting. No balls and 1 strike. Colby Lunsford, this past season at Consumnes River, 53 hits, 43 runs scored in 43 games. He had 8 home runs, 31 runs batted in. 0-1 on the way, and Lunsford taps it foul, just off Bold. No balls and 2 strikes. Lunsford transferred from Sacramento State, where he appeared in 27 games as a freshman for the Hornets. Just 2 of those were starts, though. Hit 143, had 3 hits and 21 at-bats. 1 run batted in. But he seems to have found a home at Consumnes River and getting a home here for the Humboldt Crabs, batting in the 3 spot. 0-2. Lunsford off the foot of Saldana to third. A quick play by Hansen. He throws and misses a little bit wide. It's 2 straight hits for the Crabs, and you have to hope that Saldana's ankle's okay. Dean Traynor immediately up out of the dugout, but Saldana waves him off. He seems to be okay. Jason Hansen had a quick reaction on that play, but not enough time to get the speedy Lunsford. So a single from Reginato, a single from Lunsford, and now Billy Ham's coming to the plate. 2 runners on, 1 out. So Saldana seems to be fine. He immediately told Dean Traynor, walk your way back to the dugout. He's staying out on the mound. The 0-0. And Billy Ham, the first baseman, takes the curveball low. 1 ball and no strikes. Ham, the lone Crab to strike out, first time through the order. Hitting still above 470 with 2 home runs, 13 runs batted in to lead the team. 1-0. And Ham flies it into left. Heading towards the line is Rulli. It's carrying to the track. It's off the wall. And Rulli plays it off the warning track. Here comes Reginato to score. The relay throw from Hardy is too late as Bold has to body up. That ball carried all the way for an RBI single off the wall. Again, the wind just pushing fly balls deeper into the yard. And Rulli, who thought he was going to make an easy fly ball catch in left, had to chase it all the way to the wall. It's 3-1 Crabs. And you could tell even the Crabs base runners didn't know that ball was going to carry so far, as Colby Lunsford only made it to second, which held Billy Ham to a 340-foot single? But the Crabs had another run. They've scored 1 run in each of the first 3 innings and threatened for more here in the third. The batter, Griffin Myers. Pitch to the catcher, and Myers takes it upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. I think the memo to both offenses so far, hit the ball in the air to left, and good things are going to happen. 3 straight hits for the Crabs. They've added to their lead. It's 3-1. Saldana not out of the weeds yet. Griffin Myers absolutely smashing the ball for the Crabs so far this summer. As he takes a fastball on the outside corner, 1-1. Myers flew out to center to end the first. has hit 2 home runs, has 13 runs batted in. Chance for more. 2 runners on, 1 out. Marcelo Saldana trying to bear down against the left-handed hitting catcher from Washington State. 1-1. And Myers takes it outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. So McKernan grounded out to short to start the inning. Since then, 3 straight singles, one of them to the wall, have allowed the Crabs to add on to their lead. It's 3-1 Humboldt. Chance to add some more runs as Saldana fakes a back pick to second. Blues trying to avoid losing their 3rd straight. They're down here early, 3-1. Saldana comes home and misses low in the dirt with the fastball. Count 3 balls and 1 strike. A walk would load the bases for Luke Reese, the shortstop, who singled and scored back in the 2nd inning. Blues get some arms stretching in the bullpen, but no one throwing here still early in this game with Saldana on the mound. 3-1. Myers golfs it down the line towards left field, but foul as the count moves full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Myers has not played much his first 2 years at Washington State. 0 for 1. He's got 2 walks. He'll be a redshirt sophomore next year. 6'4", 215-pound left-handed hitting catcher. But the talent is noticeable. 3-2. And Myers takes a little bit low. It's a walk that loads the bases with 1 out for the Crabs. Myers draws the base on balls, and Dean Traynor a quick walk out to the mound to talk with his left-hander. Saldana's run into trouble here in the 3rd. 3 hits after the ground out, and now they'll walk to Myers. The Blues just want to keep this one from getting out of hand early. First game of a 3-game series, a chance for redemption. And what was supposed to be maybe a lighter contest, less on the line. It's not a league play game. The Blues are down here early, and the Crabs a chance to really pour things on here in the 3rd. Blues and Crabs, game 1. Dean Traynor out on the mound talking to Marcelo Saldana. The entire infield around him. Seems like the lefty's staying in the game, but Dean Traynor visibly is trying to work some inspiration into his team. Did not look all that happy with that conversation on the mound, and now he stumps his way back to the Blues dugout. The batter will be Luke Reese, hitting above 480 now on the summer. 3 doubles, 9 runs batted in from the shortstop from CSU San Marcos. Lunsford at 3rd, Ham at 2nd, Myers at 1st. Bases juiced for the Crabs. The 0-0, and Reese takes the fastball right there on the inside corner, 0-1. Reese all CCAA 2nd team in both 2022 and 2023 for CSU San Marcos. One of the best Cougar hitters as he unloads on a fly ball to left. Got it off the end of the bat, though, as Rulli camps under it, makes the catch. Throw comes into home, and it's cut off by Hansen. Another run comes in on the sac fly. 4-1 on the 2nd out here in the 3rd. Another one that seemed to carry as Reese got that one off the end of the bat and still managed to muscle it deep enough to score the run. As Lunsford comes in to score, Crabs lead it by 3 as Reese with the sac fly. For Saldana, though, it is an out, and now he's 1 out away from getting out of the situation. The trail runners, Ham and Myers, didn't move, so now it's 1st and 2nd with 2 outs for Javier Felix, who hit a sac fly of his own his first time as he takes the ball 1-0. Felix transferred to CSUN this past year after 2 years at Cabrillo College. Didn't appear in any games for the Matadors and took a redshirt year. 2 doubles, now 5 runs batted in on the summer as he hits a liner down the left field line. It's hooking foul by just about a yard. Felix caught all of it, but it's just a strike, 1-1. Felix's 2 years at Cabrillo College were very strong. Hit .365 back in the 2021 season. A couple more plate appearances in 2022. Hit .275, but an on-base percentage in the 400s. Had 24 runs batted in on 3 home runs as well. 1-1 the count, 2 runners on. Saldana kicks and deals, and Felix takes way high, 2 balls and 1 strike. 6'2", 215-pound corner infielder from Watsonville. Went to Santa Cruz High School. 2 balls, 1 strike to count on what is now the 7th hitter in this inning. And Saldana misses inside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Another ball would walk and load the bases again for the Crabs. Standing on deck, Peyton Miller, the left fielder from the University of the Pacific. 3-1 on the way. Felix hits a towering fly ball to center. Not carrying enough as Burns is camped under it in center. He puts his glove up and makes the catch. 2 more runs for the Crabs. They've scored in each of the first 3 innings. As we head to the bottom third, it's 4-1 Humboldt on the SLO Blues streaming network. Home half of the third on the SLO Blues streaming network, and the Blues trail it by 3. It's 4-1 Humboldt as the Blues bring up 9-1-2 in their order. Sam DiCarlo, Nin Burns, Jacob Ruley coming up against Alejandro Huezo, who worked a 1-2-3 inning last inning. Real quick frame. Got 2 ground outs to short and a ground out to third. And we went 1-2-3 on the Blues. And the Crabs have scored in each of the first 3 innings, so the Blues have some answering to do after they scored 1 in the first, no runs in the second. Here they get a chance in the third. The pitch from Huezo is a slider outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Sam DiCarlo up, 3 for 13 for the Blues so far this summer. One of those hits a home run in his debut. He's knocked in 3 runs as well. 1-0. And DiCarlo takes. Fastball in the outside corner. Strike 1 call. DiCarlo had the most at-bats of any freshman this season at the University of Washington. Hit .268. Had 7 home runs, including 2 in the postseason that only add to that total. As here, he cracks the liner down the left field line. Fair ball. It bounces into the corner off the Rourke family sign. DiCarlo charging around to second. Thought about the turn for third, but he stays in the second base bag with a leadoff double. So DiCarlo at second as he got all of that pitch and hammered it down the left field line. And immediately, it's a runner in scoring position for the Blues with nobody out. So back to the top of the order we go. Nin Burns, the second, flew out to left in the first inning. Gets a chance now with a runner in scoring position for San Luis Obispo, who trail by 3. 5 hits so far for the Crabs. That was the 3rd Blues hit. 2 extra bases. Corona hit the triple in the first. Here the double for Corona to start off the third, as Burns takes strike 1 on the outside corner. Nin Burns, the second, missed the 4 games on the road trip last week against Conejo and Orange County. And he's played in the leadoff spot in all 3 games since then. Both games against the Saints. Here, leadoff in center field against the Crabs. As he cracks it on the ground, foul. No balls and 2 strikes down the third base line. Burns now 4 for 15 since coming back. He's got 5 walks as well. Was on base a couple of times the other day with 2 hits against the Saints. 0-2. And Burns taps it foul. No balls and 2 strikes still on the center fielder from Cal Poly Pomona. Led the Broncos in triples and walks this past season. Second on the team in average, slug, and OPS. Hit .317 with 5 home runs, 28 runs batted in. Hueso comes set of the belt. Looks back to DiCarlo at second. A long hold, he comes home. And Burns takes, fastball high and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Close pitch. And Hueso wanted strike 3, but it's 1-2. We saw a similar pitch to Emilio Corona that Hueso thought ended the inning. But then Corona battled around that pitch that made it 1-2. Hit the triple to bring in the run for the Blues back in the first. 1-2. Burns flies it into right. DiCarlo has to head back to second as Reginato comes in, makes the catch. Bluff from DiCarlo at second, but no tag. It's a non-productive fly ball to right for the first out of the inning. So with Burns down, here's Jacob Ruley, the 2-hole hitter from CSU Bakersfield.
At the plate now, number 25, the left fielder, Jacob Ruley.
Ruley flew out to right. Similar swing that you just saw Burns make. That was back in the first inning. Ruley now 6 hits still in non-conference play. 5 runs batted in. A chance to add another with DiCarlo at second. 0-0. And Ruley takes the changeup high. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Ruley hit north of 300 in his first season at CSU Bakersfield this past year. 304 average in 32 games played. Added 4 home runs and 4 doubles. 1-0. Here Ruley flies it foul down the first base line. 1 ball and 1 strike. You get a shot of the front rows here in the stands. That every seat is full down there. And just about every spot at Sinsheimer Stadium is occupied by a family of either Blues or Crabs fans. Another epic crowd. Here's the Blues return home for 9 straight games. 1-1, and Ruley checks his swing but goes around. 1 ball and 2 strikes on that high fastball. Ruley, a transfer from Allen Hancock College, was first team All-Western State Conference in 2021 when the Bulldogs won the WSC North Division Championship. Long hold. And time is called by Ruley at the plate as Hueso was taking a while looking back to DiCarlo at second base. DiCarlo has good speed. Second baseman for the Huskies, now for the Blues. So a single from Ruley you would think would score a run with DiCarlo churning around third. Hueso stares in from his sign from Myers. Now he has it. Kicks and deals. And Ruley takes a fastball outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hueso keeps trying that location with 2 strikes, and he's getting the same result. Missing either a little bit outside, a little bit high, but he's going back to the well. And the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch on the way. And Ruley takes the slider outside this time. The count moves full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. On deck is Theo Hardy, the shortstop from San Jose State, who singled and scored the lone run for the Blues back in the first inning. The Blues would love to get Hardy up with 2 runners on, but here Ruley's got a battle on a 3-2 count. Payoff pitch, here it comes. And Ruley flies it foul again down the right field line. A little deeper this time over the Blues bullpen. Just past the light pole. The lights are on here at Sinsheimer Stadium. Sun's still up, though. A beautiful day here in San Luis Obispo. Blue skies, high 60-degree weather. Not a single cloud in the sky. Still a full count on the Blues left fielder. Hueso comes set at the belt. He kicks and deals. Ruley strikes out swinging. That's the second strikeout for Hueso. It's a big spot. Just like that, there's 2 outs. Strikeouts have been a problem for the Blues recently. Before this game, San Luis Obispo had struck out 46 times across their last 4 games. 2 games of 14 Ks involved in that stretch. And earlier in the season in non-league play, we saw that anytime the Blues would strike out at the plate, they'd match it on the mound. And it just hasn't been the case so far in league play. In that same 4-game stretch, Blues pitching has only struck out 29. As here's Theo Hardy, who's 1 for 1, trying to bring in DiCarlo from second. And Hardy takes the fastball in the inside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Doesn't exactly seem like a change of approach. The Blues have just not been handling the stuff from the CCL teams that they've been facing recently. 46 Ks in 4 games. You're averaging well over 10 strikeouts a game. 0-1. And Hardy cracks it foul on a pop-up down the third base line. No balls and 2 strikes. Hardy's been a hard guy to strike out. In 14 at-bats, he's only struck out twice. He's also drawn 5 walks and been hit by 1 pitch, so he's striking out right now once every 10 times he comes to the plate. He's got to battle up here in an 0-2 count. Hueso tried to strand the leadoff double. It's DiCarlo who stands at second. He deals 0-2, and Hardy takes it in the dirt. It bounces off the catcher Myers and heads back to the backstop. Decent turn from DiCarlo at third, but he'll stop there. It's a 90-foot mistake and a 1-2 count. So now DiCarlo stands 90 feet away from scoring the Blues' second run, and Hardy 1 ball deeper in this count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hardy, all Mountain West first teamer this past season at San Jose State. .329 batting average for the junior. Also added 12 doubles and 2 home runs. Blues just need 1 single here to bring in another run. 1-2 from the windup, and Hardy lines it up the middle. That's a base hit. Theo Hardy's 2 for 2 as he brings in Sam DiCarlo. It's 4-2 Blues. So Theo Hardy comes through with 2 outs. The Blues have scored each of their 2 runs with 2 away. And they do not strand the leadoff double, coming 1 run closer to the Crabs here in the third. So Hardy says, I'll do this myself, and he's got 2 base hits again. Just a hard guy to get out so far for the Blues. Here's Emilio Corona. He's got the power that could tie this game in 1 swing. He showed it off his first at-bat. A triple in the first that kept carrying to center and brought in Hardy from first. As Corona takes strike 1 on the outside corner. Corona 4th on the Wildcats in RBI despite playing 20 less games than most of the everyday Arizona guys this past season. 0-1. That's outside. He picked up his first Blues RBI on that triple back in the first. It was also his first hit as he went 0 for 3 with a hit by pitch in his debut. 1-1. Corona waits on the slider, grounds it to third. Felix fields it on the short hop, throws to first, and it's gloved by Ham for the final out. The Blues add 1 more run on the single from Theo Hardy. As we're through 3, it's 4-2 Humboldt. Nate Mills will join me, come back for the top of the 4th. I'm Jack Smith, and I'm joined by Nate Mills now in the top of the 4th inning. The Blues trailing the Humboldt Crabs by a score of 4-2. Nate, it's a return to home for the Blues. They get a non-league matchup, but they trail here through 3 innings. What's the vibe like in the dugout? Does it feel like the energy is there?
Yeah, and it feels like another tranquil day in the dugout, Jack. But nonetheless, the boys are focused. I was sitting down there in the first 3 innings, and they were communicating well in what they were seeing out of the starting pitcher. And Hueso, they were seeing a two-seam and a slider.
Bunt by Peyton Miller. Saldana comes up with it and throws it down the right field line. Miller had a running start. He'll take his way to second and stop there. It's another error for the Blues and a runner in scoring position with nobody out.
And I'll just jump to my next point here. passing, talking in their communication in the dugout, but if you want to win a game like this, you have to make plays like that. You can't have an errant throw and just give a free extra 90 like that. That should have been an out, and now you have a guy in scoring position.
That's the second missed throw by Saldana today. He made the 180-foot mistake when he threw a pickoff move down the right field line, and that led to the second run of this game. Here, a single on the bunt by Miller, and then the E1 allows him to advance to second. So here's Cubby Cortez, who takes it low, 1 ball and no strikes. The 9-hole hitter, DH from Sac State, a chance to add another run for the Crabs with a runner at second, nobody out here in the fourth.
And Saldana hasn't had command issues on the mound today. He's been throwing it in there for strikes. The Crabs have been capitalizing, putting swings on it. It's finding holes, so only got 1 walk. But in terms of throwing it in the field,
Cortez bunts, and it's right back to the screen.
it's all over the map. You really got to dial that in.
He has not been helped out by the wind behind him. It seems, from here at least, every ball that's put in the air to left or center is just being carried straight to the wall.
You're right. The ball is being lifted. You saw Emilio's triple earlier in the game. The wind took that one. Not to say he doesn't have power, but the wind certainly helped.
As Cortez rips a ground ball through the right side, stopping at third is Miller. It's first and third with nobody out. Cubby Cortez comes up with a base hit, the second here in the inning. And again, Saldana's in trouble. 2 runners on with not a single out for the Crabs in the top of the order coming up.
Yeah, once again, going back to the command, Saldana throwing pitches in the zone. It's just catching too much of the plate, and hitters like Cortez right there are doing a good job just putting a nice, easy swing on it, finding a hole. But Miller does not score. Now there's runners at the corners.
That's the 7th hit already for the Crabs, and Saldana doesn't even have 1 out here in the 4th. So 9 outs, 7 hits for Saldana on the mound as he deals, and McKernan, the leadoff hitter, takes it just past his chin, 1 ball and no strikes.
Yeah, it's important not to get frustrated, too, if you're Saldana. They're finding holes, they're finding gaps, they're finding hits, but continue to throw strikes.
1 ball and no strikes on the center fielder from Fresno State. Saldana looks to first, now kicks and deals. And McKernan takes it low in the dirt. Nice block by Bold. 2 balls and no strikes. We've seen a couple times today where Saldana just has not had his command, and he's ended up walking the bases loaded. And doing that here would put 3 runners on with nobody out for Wyatt Reginato, who's 2 for 2. And this just gauntlet of a Crabs order, especially at the top. 2-0. McKernan bounces it past the third base bag, foul, 2-1.
Yeah, the Crabs lineup putting up some impressive numbers, and it's continuing today at Sinsheimer.
Mike McKernan, one of the only guys in this first 6 or 7 hitters that isn't hitting 300, but he came into the game hitting 289. He's 0 for 2. Hit 208 in his first season at Fresno State this past year. Saldana a long hold. He kicks and deals. Runner takes off for second, and McKernan cracks it foul. Pop up down the first base line, out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. But you're right. I mean, you look at the batting averages, and it's nothing like we've seen it all this summer. I mean, we're seeing guys that are just about hitting 500 for the Crabs, who are 10-4, lost their 9-game win streak when they were swept by the Walnut Creek Crawdads. So they're 0-2 against CCL teams, but ahead of the Blues here. And they've had an impressive offense early on. The 2-strike pitch. And McKernan grounds it to short. This could be a double play. Hardy, an underhand flip. DiCarlo, the relay to first. It is a double play. It's 5-2 as Peyton Miller comes in to score, but 2 outs on 1 pitch from Marcelo Saldana. He'll take that.
Yeah, you will absolutely take the 2 outs in that situation, sacrificing that 1 run. You're closer to getting out of this one and putting the bat back in your hands. And speaking of bats, I'd like to emphasize the bat that Reginato is swinging right now. Tried to get as close as I could when I was in the dugout to see what that design is. I'm pretty sure it's a Star Wars lightsaber theme here. It had the Empire logo on the barrel.
It looks like a metal bat from here. You don't see wood bats that color. But it's working for him. He's 2 for 2 as he takes that one for a strike. A single in the first, he scored a run. A single in the third, he scored a run. As the Crabs have scored now in all 4 of the first 4 innings. 0-1 count, lefty-lefty. Saldana deals the curveball low. 1 ball and 1 strike. There is a left-handed arm warming up in the bullpen for the Blues. If I'm not mistaken, that should be the new left-handed arm from Texas. Chris Stewart from the Netherlands, senior from UT Austin, is warming up. That one's high, 2 balls and 1 strike. You're right, Nate. Saldana is throwing strikes most of the time, but just the hits are finding holes, and the fly balls have really hurt. As there's a liner to center, Burns comes on strong, and it's high enough for him to make the head-high catch to retire the side. Another run for the Crabs as we head to the bottom of the 4th. It is 5-2 Humboldt on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom half of the 4th. Bottom half of the 4th on the SLO Blues streaming network. Zach Tollerman due to lead things up. It's Tollerman, Trimble, and Hansen on the SLO Blues streaming network. Blues trail it by 3 against the Humboldt Crabs, who have had their number early. As Tollerman swings to the first pitch and lines the slider on one hop past the second base bag. Lie throw, and it's by the first baseman, Ham. What a weird batted ball off the end of the bat for Zach Tollerman. Looked like a liner up the middle, turned into a ground ball, but he beats it out either way. It's a leadoff base hit.
Yeah, from the angle right here, it looked like he hit it way harder, but obviously caught it off the end of the bat. Surprised it didn't break. And Blues catch a break on the errant throw by Reese, and they got a runner aboard in Tollerman.
It's ruled as a hit for Zach Tollerman. I think I agree with the call. He would have had a chance to beat that out either way with just how weirdly that ball was hit. But here's Justin Trimble, the first baseman from UCSB, grounded out to short his first time up, and he takes strike 1.
It's like I've said before, Jack, when you start out a weekend with a ground ball, could get hot pretty soon.
Never understood your reasoning behind that one. I'll have to have you re-explain it to me off air one time. 0-1, and Trimble takes it outside and high, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Pretty much what it does is it neutralizes your barrel path. It sets the tone for how you're going to swing that week, because oftentimes you'll get batters when they want to get something going. They'll get big. They dip the shoulder. They get underneath the ball.
Trimble gets big. It's a liner to left, and it hangs up maybe with the wind to Miller, the left fielder. A nice swing of the bat. Maybe I follow your reasoning, but there's one out here in the 4th.
Yeah, that's a better hit ball than the ground ball we saw earlier. This one gets a little more air underneath it. It's a line drive out to left, and a left-handed hitter going the opposite way is a good sign of getting hot as well. So fans out there, I'd keep my eye on Trimble.
Well, everyone in the second, including Jason Hansen, who's coming up right now, started their weekend with a ground ball. So I guess you're saying this bottom part of the order, they're all hitting 100 homers this weekend?
I love that, but
not a homer. Hansen squares to bunt and bunts it over the netting behind home plate. No balls and 1 strike. The Blues went 1-2-3 in the second. 2 grounders to short from Trimble and Hansen. And then Jake Bold, who's on deck, grounded out to third in that quick 1-2-3 frame.
I'd say that was a backwards homer.
Yeah.
Over the net.
Over the fence.
Yeah.
Home run. 0-1. That is on the outside corner. Weird call because Myers was up into his throwing motion, but a no-ball 2-strike count on Jason Hansen. Hansen led Yuba College this past year in nearly every single offensive statistical category. 958 OPS, playing in all 38 games for the 49ers. 0-2 pitch, and Hansen bounces it right back to the pitcher. Huezo goes to second for one. The high throw, and Hansen can't quite beat it out. It's an inning-ending double play as the Blues can't work around the leadoff single. Through 4, it's 5-2 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Here we go. New pitcher in for the Blues is the left-hander from UC Austin, Chris Stewart from Amsterdam, Netherlands. 6'2", 225-pound left-hander making his first Blues appearance, taking over for Marcelo Saldana here on the top of the 5th. Nate, what have you noticed so far from the lefty?
It's the foreigner, the Dutch kid, another southpaw rolling out to the mound, and we've so far seen a fastball. And once again, we saw this in the last series against the Saints, a theme of effortless velo. We're seeing that here in Stewart, looking to see if he can power away at the fastball against the Crabs here. Here comes a changeup. But it looks like that fastball is going to be key for Stewart tonight. Just got to make sure he locates it, keep it in the zone, keep the defense on their toes, don't draw too many walks, no free ones.
That is something that Stewart struggled with this past year at Texas, and maybe one of the reasons he's in the transfer portal. Had a 7.2 earned run average across 15 innings pitched in 15 appearances. 14 walks, though, in the 15 innings. Also hit a handful of batters. So averaging more than 1 free 90 an inning is not what coaches like to see, especially pitching coaches. When you're giving up free base runners to the other team, they tend to not be quite a fan of that.
Yeah, and that will be his goal for tonight, is making sure he's locating his stuff. And on the topic of stuff, we saw that slider. Big sweeping action. So the movement is there. He's got the velo. He's got the movement. Now he's just got to spot it where he wants, and that will be his goal for this evening.
He faces 3-4-5 in this Crabs order. It's a 5-2 Humboldt lead here in the top of the 5th inning. Lunsford, who's 2 for 2, then Ham, and then Myers. Pardon me. Lunsford has walked and singled. He's 1 for 1. He's reached base twice, and he takes the fastball from Stewart up high. 1 ball and no strikes. Stewart, big, tall left-hander, and one of these Blues pitchers that I feel like we've talked about a good amount of them. They've got the stuff. It comes down now to the location. The 1-0 is in there. It looked like the changeup, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, and see if he could just find that groove with that changeup and that slider. That was a changeup there. Plops in the lower half of the zone for a strike. That'll tie up hitters.
1-1. That's popped up on the right side. Little flare. In comes the right fielder, Corona. He's got enough room to make the catch in front of the foul line for the first out.
We're getting to that point of the game where we can start talking about the shadows, and ever since the summer solstice.
That's my favorite time.
Ever since the summer solstice, now we're going to see some different patterns happening on the field here. You just saw Corona in the light, in the dark, back in the light, and now you see Stewart completely engulfed in the darkness and comes out of it into the light.
It's like Bane. And you said engulfed in the darkness.
He was born in the dark, molded by it.
The batter is Billy Ham, left-handed hitting first baseman from Nevada. He's 1 for 1, struck out in the first, singled in the second, and he's ahead in the count. 2 balls and no strikes. It wasn't exactly, I don't think, molded in the darkness. It was molded in the Netherlands, though. Before college, Stewart pitched for 2 different teams in the Dutch Major League. As he readies up, 2 balls, no strikes on Ham, the first baseman from Nevada, who's got 12 runs batted in so far this season for the Crabs. 2-0. And Ham nubs it foul. 2 balls and 1 strike. I'm going to try not to butcher the name of the league, Nate. Honkbal Hoofdklasse, the Dutch Major League that Stewart pitched for 3 different seasons in. That is just absolutely one of the funnest things I've ever said on air. 2-1 pitch. Ham takes outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. The 2 teams he played for, one, the Amsterdam Pirates. That was at age 17 when he threw an inning in the third. And then at age 19, the Honkbal Club Allen Veerbaar, when he was 6 years younger than the league's average player. Ham swings and misses the slider, full count.
Are you sure you don't know Dutch? That rolled off the tongue rather nicely.
It's a job. You got to know how to say it.
You're a pro, man.
But, yeah, imagine being our age now and pitching in the major leagues. 3-2. Ham breaks his bat and rolls a grounder to second. DiCarlo played it back and now makes the throw in time to get Ham by a couple of steps. 2 outs.
Crabs putting the ball in play. It's not finding holes, though. He's got 2 weak contacts in the past 2 hitters, and it's been an easy play for Corona and then DiCarlo. And that's a good sign for the Blues pitcher.
What I think I'm most impressed by so far, it's only been 2 batters, but all the warm-up pitches for the most part were fastballs, and here he's come out here and he's got trust in the off-speed stuff. When you're so concerned with the lefty fastball, you're going to be way early on all those pitches, and that's what we've seen, a pop-up to right and a ground ball to second.
You don't want to think too much on those off-speed pitches as well, because that's where you get the command issues. You're yanking it, you're sailing them. So it's probably best to think about those less.
1-0. There's a ground ball down the third base line. Fair ball. It's towards Rulli to third. As rounding first, Griffin Myers has a single with 2 outs.
Yeah, and of course, right on cue, Myers gets a single that finds a hole just to the right of Hansen. They got a base runner aboard, but now with 2 outs, you can just flip to second and get out of this one.
Well, the Blues trying to put up the first 0 today, as Marcelo Saldana gave up at least 1 run in each of the 4 innings he threw. 1 in the first for the Crabs, 1 in the second, 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth. As here, the batter Luke Reese takes inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Reese was in the middle of all of that. A single to lead off the second, came around to score a run, and then hit a sacrifice fly in the 2-run third. 1 ball, no strikes with Griffin Myers at first. There's a foul down the first base line, 1-1.
Luke Reese from Cal State San Marcos, right down the street from where I played junior college at Palomar. Jack, what's their mascot?
I talked about this earlier on the broadcast. Are they the Cougars?
They are the Cougars. Good job.
Steel trap. Steel trap. And apparently Dutch pronunciation.
Yeah.
As that is in there, strike 2 call on the outside corner. Yeah, Reese was one of the best Cougars these last couple seasons, all CCAA second team in both 2022, 2023. Led the team this past year in OPS and on base percentage. Trying to get on base here with 2 outs in the 5th. Kick and deal. And Reese hits a soft liner to right, but hangs up for Corona, who catches the sinking liner for the 3rd out. It's the first scoreless frame for the Blues, and the debut for Chris Stewart. We head to the bottom of the 5th. It's 5-2 Humboldt Crabs. We welcome you back to Sinsheimer Stadium here on the SLO Blues streaming network. It's Jake Bold, Sam DiCarlo, and then back to the top order for Nin Burns. Here in the bottom of the fifth, Blues have work to do on offense. It's 5-2 Humboldt Crabs in game one of this three-game series. And stepping up to the plate, second at bat for Jake Bold, the catcher from Princeton. Hueso has kept the Blues at bay. They've scored 2 runs with 2 outs. 1 in the first, and 1 a couple innings ago back in the third. As the count, 1 ball and no strikes on Bold, who grounded out to third back in the second inning. 1-0. Bold takes, strike 1 called at the top of the zone. Nate, we've seen the Blues offense. They've been struggling a little bit more as of late. They haven't put together the big innings, it feels like. What's the next step for a team trying to break out of that slump?
I think the next step for them is to just keep swinging. I think they're swinging the bat well. Starting out in the beginning of the year, they had some trouble getting the bat off their shoulders. But now I think if they can just continue to put the ball in play and just stay with that, I think, and continue to start off games with ground balls, I think that will work for them later on going down the road if they can just stay with that.
2-2 on the way. Bold strikes out swinging. He unloads a big swing. Catches nothing. It's the third strikeout for Hueso. 1 out here in the fifth.
Yeah, you should swing, but not a swing like that, especially with 2 strikes. You can't be pulling your head when that ball's coming in. You need to be able to see the ball, track it into your bat, especially with 2 strikes. You're also supposed to shorten up there, and Jake actually gets bigger. So going forward in that next at-bat, got to make sure you're shortening up, especially down in the count with 2 strikes.
The Shadows are making things hard, but here's Sam DiCarlo, who had an easier first at-bat, hit a double down the left field line. He's behind the count here 0-1. DiCarlo, big standout freshman in the Pac-12. 2 home runs in an NCAA regional game versus Oral Roberts, who eventually went on to Omaha. As he swings and misses here. Fastball inside, no balls and 2 strikes. Hueso just pitching with a lot of confidence on the mound, and the Shadows are helping him out right now as well.
Yeah, not afraid to go in there with that fastball, and he's noticing it. He's tying up the Blues hitters. They're abandoning their mechanics on that fastball inside. We saw it with Bolden, and we saw it just now with DiCarlo, abandoning the approach, and the hands are going too far out. The front side fly I talked about earlier, that left shoulder for right-handed hitters is opening.
DiCarlo hits a soft fly ball to left, carrying a little bit, but in the gap, the left fielder Miller puts his glove up to make the catch or the second out.
And DiCarlo kind of ran into that one. As I was saying, that left shoulder for right-handed hitters will kind of fly open. You're losing your power, you're losing your barrel control, and that's kind of a soft fly ball that he plops out there to Miller and left.
Well, it's hard to cover that inside fastball right at the top inside corner of the zone and the slider, the lower outside part, and that it's just a testament to the command for Hueso. If you can command both of those pitches, you're a tough pitcher to hit.
Yeah, and that was the discussion they were having in the dugout. He comes in with that 2-seam also, so it's got that late life to it as well, and there's that slider.
Burns lifts the slider to right. Reginato had to completely turn around as he races back and makes the catch. Another 1-2-3 inning for Hueso. He's through 5, only 2 runs allowed. It's 5-2 Crabs as we head to the top of the 6th. We're back here on the SLO Blues streaming network. Chris Stewart back out to face the bottom third of this Crabs order. It's a 5-2 Humboldt lead as the shadows continue to creep in here at Sinsheimer. Nate, as we were going to break last time, you said you almost threw in the high school name for the left-hander Chris Stewart from the Netherlands. Do you want to give the pronunciation a shot?
Yeah, let me pull it back up here so I can take a look at it.
Go for it.
Calandicium.
I think that sounded pretty good. We put it into Google Translate to try things out. But the pitcher from the Netherlands worked the first Blues scoreless inning back in the 5th inning. Gave up the single to Myers, but then got the fly ball from Reese. Here he faces Felix, Miller, and Cubby Cortez, trying to keep this one at least within a couple of runs for the Blues. San Luis Obispo hasn't been able to get it done on offense for what seems like most of the last couple of weeks outside of those 2 games against Orange County. And here they're trying to get back to their winning ways in their first game back at Sinsheimer. First of a 9-game homestand. Javier Felix to lead things off. A sacrifice fly back in the 2nd. Flew out deep to center to end the 3rd inning. Another lefty on the hill for the Blues. This is Felix's first at-bat against Stewart, who works from the stretch. Third base side of the rubber. He kicks and deals. And Felix flies the first pitch foul down the right field line out of play. The Blues didn't lose a series in the entirety of preseason play in non-league games. Went 7-2 across those games. Ended on that 4-game win streak, but the Crabs threaten here. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Felix, one of the few hitters on the Crabs, batting below 200 at a 182 average heading into this game. Cabrillo College threw up a 275 and a 365 at his time there.
That fastball's in there on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Felix, 6'2", 215-pound redshirt junior from Watsonville, traveling down the coast here to play the Blues. 1-2. And Felix checks his swing on the low breaking ball. Doesn't go around. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
He'll go farther down the coast this next season as a Matador at CSUN.
So 2 ball, 2 strike count. Nobody out here in the 6th. Blues trail by 3. Stewart delivers, and Felix bends back out of the way of that fastball. Count moves full, 3-2. So Stewart back from his stretch. He delivers and misses inside. It's a leadoff walk, the first for Stewart as a Blue. There's a leadoff base runner here in the 6th.
That was the theme for that at-bat right there with Stewart versus Felix, missing inside. That left on right matchup, and he awards Felix first base.
So Peyton Miller comes up now. Stewart, as we mentioned, had the 14 walks in 15 innings this past year. Transferring out of Texas now as Peyton Miller shows bunt and lays it down fouled on the first base line, 0-1. He is a previous transfer as well. Played at San Jacinto College for the Gators as a freshman, then transferred to Texas. But his season at San Jacinto was amazing. 78.1 innings pitched, a 3.1 ERA, and an even better 2.09 earned run average in conference. As that one's outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. 106 strikeouts across those 78 and a third innings. The strikeout stuff is there. Still looking for his first K as a Blue. His pitch, and Miller takes that inside fastball again. He's not missing by much with the count, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Definitely some adjustments made in this at-bat against Miller, the contact hitter out of UOP.
2 balls, 1 strike. Runner at first is Felix. The pitch, Felix takes off, and it's cracked towards third. Hansen plays the high hop, throws low, and it's scooped out by Trimble at first for the first out of the inning. Moving to second is Felix. There's a runner in scoring position with 1 out.
That's a nice backhanded scoop there by Trimble. Good play by Hansen as well. But Felix took off for second base. Had he had not, could have been 2. But now the third baseman is standing at second.
Hit and run, most likely you'd assume, on that ground ball to third.
Yeah.
It worked, and it moved Felix into scoring position. Here's Cubby Cortez, the DH from Sacramento State. A single his last time up. 0-0. And Stewart misses low. 1 ball and no strikes. Bold had to block that one up. in the dirt to keep the runner Felix at second base. Leadoff hitter is on deck. Mike McKernan looking to grab his 4th at bat in just the first 6 innings. Unless the Blues turn some kind of crazy double play, he will come up in this frame. 1 ball, no strike to count on the right-handed hitting DH. The pitch, and Cortez takes that wicked slider on the black. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cortez lined out to short to end the 2nd inning, and then had that single back in the 4th. 1-1 on the way, and Cortez hit on the foot. He's awarded first base on the hit by pitch. That's just the second free 90 allowed in this inning by Stewart, and there's first and second with 1 out.
If you don't adjust missing inside, it's eventually going to end up in something like that, awarding a free first base on the hit by pitch to Cortez. And Stewart needs to find his command here if he wants to get the Blues out of the inning. Now, there is a runner on first base now. You could easier to flip a double play here.
Mike McKernan, the leadoff hitter, he's been the least successful so far of the guys at the top of this Crabs order. He's 0 for 3, and he misses inside as Stewart threw it to the backstop again. Continues to miss inside. Both runners move up. As the count moves 1-0, it's runners at second and third with 1 out.
Yeah, you can't miss like that. Ball gets all the way to the backstop. Now you have 2 runners in scoring position instead of a double play opportunity if you were to get a ground ball. Now if you get a ground ball, it finds a hole, scores in a run easily from third base.
McKernan, a guy who grounded into a double play his last time up. 6 for 3 back in the 4th. As Saldana got the double play with the bases loaded. Blues bring the infield in, already trailing it by 3. And McKernan hits the grounder to short. Hardy has to give ground. A run comes in to score. As thrown out at first is McKernan. You read it perfectly, Nate. It's 6-2 Crabs.
Yeah, you had the infield in. Runners in scoring position with 1 out. You move the infield in for a ground ball just like that. Now Hardy goes to first for the 2nd out.
So the Crabs get right back on the board. They didn't score a run in the 5th. It was the first inning they didn't score a run. They're right back here with 1 in the 6th. 6-2 Humboldt. And they threaten for more here. Wyatt Reginato has hit the ball well all 3 times. He's 2 for 3. And the runner at third is Cortez. Stewart misses on that same corner. 1 ball and no strikes.
We're able to get a better look at that lightsaber he's got there. Our photographer, Ashley Paulson, sends us a photo. It's got his name, Wyatt Reginato, spray painted on there, kind of like a graffiti art. Some neon pink designs.
I aspire one day to have that much swag. 1-0. That's foul out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike.
It's like an MLB The Show or in a baseball video game. You get a cool-looking bat like that, it's like power plus 500, contact plus 300.
Contact has been plus 300 today. Singles in the 1st and 3rd. A line out to the center fielder, Nin Burns, in the 3rd. Reginato takes it low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Stewart just trying to get out of this inning. It's his 2nd frame in his first outing as a Blue. He's allowed his first earned run. Still, there hasn't been a hit in the inning. The walk started it off to Javier Felix. The hit by pitch to Cortez as the DH now stands at 3rd. 2-1 way outside. 3 balls and 1 strike.
And we do have Caden Tynes warming up in the bullpen. The right-hander out of Cuesta College. I wonder if he will be strutting out to the mound in the next inning.
Dean Traynor not one to normally pull within innings, so this could be Stewart's frame no matter what. 3 ball, 1 strike count on the 2-hole hitter. Stewart delivers, and Reginato bends back out of the way. That's another walk, the 3rd free 90 of the inning. There's 1st and 3rd with 2 outs.
It's a good snag by Bold to make sure that doesn't get to the backstop, and an extra free 90 on top of the free 90 that was rewarded to Reginato.
It's not Dean Traynor coming out to the mound. I'm not even sure this is a coach on the Blues staff. It's someone that coming out to talk to Chris Stewart that we don't fully recognize, but decked out in Blues gear. The entire infield comes in to join the meeting. If Stewart stays in, it'll be 1st and 3rd with 2 outs. The batter, Colby Lunsford, who's walked, singled, and flown out. The second baseman from Consumnes River, as the mysterious man walks back to the Blues dugout. It is Stewart staying on the hill. 1st and 3rd, 2 away. 2 walks in the inning. The hit by pitch. And the Crabs up 6-2. Stewart trying to keep it within arm's distance for the Blues. Lunsford, once for two. Bent back in that right-hand batter's box. He takes a vicious hack, swings and misses at the top of the zone. No balls and one strike.
Looked like he was swinging no matter what right there. That was a huge swing.
Lunsford, 5'11" frame, squats even lower, so a small strike zone. And Stewart misses low, 1 ball and 1 strike. When you got a guy that hasn't really been able to find the zone in the inning, shortening up your strike zone isn't the worst idea. A walk would load the bases.
And for Lunsford, widening out a bit, you see him right there. He's been doing that all day. Continues in this at bat, but taking a little too big of a cut.
They have the liberty to do it with a 6-2 lead and a chance to really dig the dagger into the back of the Blues. 2-1, runner takes off for second, and Lunsford flies it foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Reginado tried to get a running start, but Lunsford couldn't keep it fair.
Stewart could really use a strikeout right here.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 runners on. It's Cortez at third, Reginado at first. See if he takes off again. He doesn't, and Stewart misses way inside. It's in the dirt as Bold lost his wrist guard. Kept it in front, though. 3 balls, 2 strikes, now 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs.
Now it's extra important that he gets a strikeout in this situation.
Well, I don't know how that didn't hit Lunsford.
Yeah, he matrixed out of the way of that one, or moved that right foot, scooted it away.
Spin move in the box, and a full count now. Walk would load the bases. Stewart delivers, and Lunsford fights it foul. Line drive down the right field line, out of play. Count still full. So it's Reginado now at second. Cubby Cortez, who was hit by a pitch, third batter of the inning, is at third base. 1 run has already come in to score. That was Felix, who walked to open the inning. Another payoff. Stewart misses high. It's a third walk of the inning, and the bases are loaded with 2 outs. No movement so far from Dean Traynor. He looks down at the bullpen, but he's going to keep Stewart in there. I'm not sure how much longer you can keep the Texas lefty in. He's walked 3 in the inning now. He's also hit a batter. 4 free 90s in this frame alone. Just 2 outs.
And no one warming up in the Blues pen.
Stewart delivers, and Billy Ham takes the slider inside. 1 ball and no strikes. And now are the Blues contemplating another meeting? They do send out someone to talk to Stewart. It isn't Dean Traynor, and the infield comes in again. So another mound visit. The Blues have taken Caden Tynes out of the bullpen now, which could mean one of 2 things. Either he's shut down or he's in the dugout and he's ready. So Stewart's coming out of the game, but it's not Dean Traynor to pull him. As Caden Tynes will come out of the bullpen. A 1-0 count, and the Blues make a pitching change. We're going to take a step away as the right-hander comes in. Bases loaded, 2 outs for the Crabs in the 6th. Caden Tynes is in. The bases are still loaded for the Crabs. Top of the 6th, 2 outs. And this is a chance for the Crabs to really open this game up here at Sinsheimer Stadium. And Caden Tynes, who's thrown 4 2/3 innings so far for the Blues this summer, allowed 3 earned runs on 3 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. He's in the game now, taking over for Stewart in this mess of an inning. 1-0. Big swing and a miss by Billy Ham. 1 ball and 1 strike. He saw the fastball and his eyes lit up.
Yeah, this is a tough spot for Tynes to roll into. He's got bases loaded. He does have 2 outs, though. They can just get a ball and play right at a guy. They can get out of this smoothly.
Tynes misses low with the changeup. 2 balls and 1 strike. Ham has struck out in the first, singled in the third, grounded out to second back in the 5th inning. Got to fill up the zone.
Tynes got to be careful with that curveball, too. It floats in there into the zone.
Big swing and a miss again from Ham. So now 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Blues do have a force at any base, and they play the infield back. A ground ball anywhere, the Blues can go to their respective bags. 2-2. Down low, 3 balls and 2 strikes. So now, not as confident that the Blues can go to their own bags. All 3 runners will have a chance to get a head start, running with a 3-2 count and 2 outs.
And this has got to be Tynes' best pitch. Don't want to walk in a run.
Seen primarily fastballs out of the pen so far. 3-2. Ham takes, strike 3 called. It's a changeup, and Tynes has a strikeout to end the 6th. 1 more run, though, for the Crabs. It's 6-2 as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning on the SLO Blues streaming network. Well, it's about time for the Blues offense to get going. They trail the Humboldt Crabs 6-2 here in the bottom of the 6th, and they've allowed Alejandro Hueso to kind of dice him up over these last couple innings. Hueso has worked 5 innings, only given up 5 hits. No errors behind him. He's only allowed the 2 runs, and it's 2-3-4 in this Blues lineup coming up. 3rd time through the order. Jacob Rulli, Theo Hardy, Emilio Corona due up. This is one of the first times that we've seen a starting pitcher go this long against the Blues. They're normally good at getting guys out of the game, or guys have been pulled early. You don't see too many deep outings in summer ball, but the Crabs letting Hueso go, and with the way he's been pitching, you can't quite blame him.
Yeah, and it looks like there's no one even moving around in the bullpen as well. So Hueso looks like he's here to stay, and for right reason. He's holding the San Luis Obispo to only 2 runs and 5 hits.
Rulli's 0 for 2. He struck out one of the 3 times the Blues have today. Also flew out back in the first. 1-1. And Rulli takes the slider low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Hueso only had 1 appearance this summer before coming into this game. Only went 2 innings. Here he is pitching in the 6th as Rulli tags one to center, but it's an easy fly ball for McKernan, who ranges over to his right and makes the catch.
And that's Rulli's signature, the deep fly ball to center. I can relate deeply as well. My time at Palomar, they'd always yell weight room to me, and I would assume they might be doing the same to Rulli. Maybe not, because he's a good leader. But the deep fly ball to center just can't quite get the extra feet to put it out there. But he sends another one out there for out 1.
When we went golfing yesterday, you looked like you would hit the weight room. I think the difference was, I'm not sure how many of your drives would have been fair. The 1 ball, no strikes on Theo Hardy, the shortstop from San Jose State. Pitch, and Hardy checks his swing, takes the slider off his foot. He gets first base on the hit by pitch. He knew it right away, and there's a runner at first for the Blues.
This might be an Academy Award in the making, because it didn't look like it went off. He made it seem like it hit his left foot, but I personally don't think it did.
Robin Guyver's out to talk. He wants the umpires to conference about this, as I don't think he thinks that hit Hardy in the foot. And the umpires, no, they're going to leave it be. So Hardy gets to stay at first, and a base runner for the Blues. They'll take it anyway. I think even if it was an Academy Award, Hardy knows what it takes to come back in games like this. Veteran guy, shortstop, one of the more cerebral players I think on this team, that he'll just try and get on base anyway, and he has been on base in all 3 of his plate appearances. So here's Emilio Corona behind him with 1 out runner at first.
Yeah, that was my next sentence. That's a guy who knows the situation and knows that that's what your coach, when you have a pitch come in close like that and you're in a situation like this, act like it hit you.
Nothing worse than having a coach yell, "You should have worn it," from the dugout on a pitch that comes at you. 0-1. As Corona lifts a fly ball to center, it's deep. McKernan back to the track. He stops there and makes the one-handed catch. Corona's got some pop, but couldn't quite get that one out. Deepest part of the yard. There's 2 outs.
Had it had not been the deepest part of the yard, could have the chance to either hit off the wall or actually get out. The wind gets a hold of this one, gets a little under it, too high in the air, not enough carry, but it's easy put out for McKernan for out number 2.
Well, McKernan's learned when Corona's up. He played a little deeper back prior to that pitch. Here's Zach Tollerman, who's 1 for 2. And Tollerman takes the fastball outside, 1 ball and no strikes. It has seemed like a relatively light day for Hueso at the plate. He's not throwing all that hard. He's just effortlessly tossing him in there, and his command has been on point. Trying to finish his 6th inning of work. Hardy takes off late for second. Here's the throw down from Myers. It's not in time, a little wide. It's a stolen base for Theo Hardy. 2 balls, no strikes. The runner in scoring position for the Blues.
Yeah, and on Hueso, not necessarily striking out a ton of guys, or he's got 3 strikeouts in this outing so far, a problem the Blues have had as of late in the CCL, but this is out-of-league play. Guys are just putting swings on the ball. It's grounders right to the shortstop or the third baseman, and it's short little innings.
2-0. Tollerman takes down low. 3 balls and no strikes on the tall DH for the Blues. Hits now in each of his last 3 games, 4 across the last 3 combined. He's finding his swing that he had at Cuesta College this past year. 3-0. And Tollerman takes it outside. One of the first few walks that we have seen, actually the first, out of the hand of Hueso. Hit Hardy to start this inning. That's the first walk from Hueso, and Tollerman is aboard with 2 outs.
Would like to see Tremble keep his approach going the other way. We saw in his last step out, he lined out to left. He can just keep the level swing in his approach. Could be seeing Hardy waved home.
One of the first big chances the Blues have had. 2 runners on with 2 outs. Both runners on for free. Trimble hoping to make him pay. Hueso kicks and deals, and Trimble takes a big hack. No balls and 1 strike. Trimble, a guy that can leave the yard, and that's what he's primarily done at the collegiate level. 3 of his 6 hits in college have been homers. Big-time pop from the lefty, who was just flipping him out in batting practice. 0-1. Trimble lifts it to left. He goes the other way. It's in the gap. McKernan and Miller converge. It's the left fielder Miller who makes the catch. 3 deep flyouts for the Blues in the inning, and again, they can't bring across a run against Hueso through 6 innings. It's 6-2 Humboldt on the SLO Blues streaming network. Griffin Myers, Luke Reese, Javier Felix due up to lead things off for the Humboldt Crabs. 6-2 Humboldt lead here in the top of the 7th. Blues running out of chances, and Myers starts off the inning with a liner to left, and it hangs up for Rulli. I feel like, Nate, there have been a lot of those that look like hits off the bat, but sometimes the carry doesn't help the batter.
Yeah, sometimes. This one is probably one that plops in front of Rulli, but it gets a little extra. It grows legs underneath it. You can kind of see Rulli take a few extra steps looking like it was going to drop, but then he kind of had to hold back a bit and snag it up there for out number 1. But that's super easy for Tynes right there. Did a good job getting out of the last inning with the situation, the bases loaded. We now know that changeup is his favorite and best pitch as he got a strikeout from Ham. And he easily gets out number 1 with 1 pitch.
0-1. The shortstop, Luke Reese, takes the breaking ball high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Reese singled and scored in the second. Since then, a sac fly and a fly out to right. So he's 1 for 2. 1-1. And Reese takes. Fastball in the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It's a good spot.
Caden Tynes has impressed since coming in from the pen. And he's just trying to keep this one close for the Blues, who trail it by 4. Complete shadows between the mound and home plate now. 1-2. And Reese strikes out swinging. Lost his footing on the breaking ball, and that's the second K from Tynes out of the pen. There's 2 away.
That's one of those swings where you're going, yes, 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 no, yes, no, yes, in the middle of your swing. He gets an uncomfortable cut out of Reese for a strikeout, and this is exactly what the Blues want to see out of the relief pitcher.
Well, his feet moved as much as his bat did, as his back feet almost ended up completely out of the batter's box, as that slider painted in there on the inside corner for strike 1 to Javier Felix. Felix a sac fly in the second, fly out to center in the third, a walk and a run scored last inning in the 6th. One of 3 walks allowed by Chris Stewart before Caden Tynes came in and shut things down. 1-1 the count. Caden Tynes works from the stretch. Bright orange glove, he kicks and deals. That's the slider again and an uncomfortable swing. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes on the dirty breaking ball.
Yeah, he's starting to getting a hold of that slider. If he can productively use that as well as the changeup, should be some quick innings on defense for the Blues.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
He tried to throw that as hard as he could, and he yanks it into the other batter's box.
Got to show off the velocity sometimes. You've seen the slider a couple times, the changeup. Let them know that you can throw it hard.
Why not?
And now you rally back in with 2 strikes. 2-2. The breaking ball again lined over the head of the left fielder Hansen, down for a base hit. Jacob Rulli plays on a couple of hops. It's a 2-out knock for the 7-hole hitter Javier Felix, who's aboard for the 2nd straight inning.
This is a great job by Felix, hanging in there with that slider. Hitters on both sides today have not handled the slider very well. They've abandoned the mechanics, getting the swing a little too big, but Felix makes an adjustment here. He keeps that head in on the ball, short stroke, nice easy base hit out to left.
0-0 the count. Here's the batter, Peyton Miller. The pitch is another slider. Start him off, slider on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. So no 1-2-3 inning for the Blues. They haven't had one all day. But Caden Tynes could work a scoreless frame with 1 more out. The Blues have only had 1 inning where they haven't allowed a Crabs run through the first 6. 0-1. And Miller takes it outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Peyton Miller, 5'9", 170 pounds. From Thousand Oaks, California, was the Thousand Oaks High School varsity sports MVP back in 2022. Was also 2nd team All-County in baseball. 1-1 with Felix at first. Tynes from the stretch, picks, and it is not in time to get Felix. Tynes, the 2nd reliever, tabbed out there by Dean Traynor. Marcelo Saldana went the first 4. Chris Stewart couldn't quite finish 2 full innings as Tynes had to come in and get the last out. Here trying to finish his first full frame in the 7th. He kicks and deals, and Miller takes the breaking ball on the outside corner, strike 2 call.
Miller, a guy who has a propensity to get hit a lot. He's got 7 hit by pitches in his past season, and I have no explanations. Some guys just get hit. I think my best guess would say that they crowd the plate and they fill out the batter's box, but he's coming in at 170 at 5'9". He draws hit by pitches. It's one of those inexplicable things in baseball.
Call him a ball magnet.
One could say.
But, hey, if it doesn't hurt too bad, you're fine with the base. And eventually, when it wears off and the bruise is gone, you realize it helps the on-base percentage anyway. As he got on base a lot in his first season at UOP, hit .304 across 43 starts as a freshman. 1-2. And Miller bends back out of the way. He fell to a squat and a late strike 3 called. So Tynes gets 2 strikeouts in the inning and works a scoreless frame as we head bottom 7. It's 6-2 Crabs. Bottom third of the order due up for the Blues. Only 9 more outs to play with offensively. Jason Hansen, Jake Bold, Sam DiCarlo coming up against Alejandro Hueso, who's dominated through 79 pitches, and he's only allowed a handful of hits. This has popped up down the right field line, and Ham races over in front of the Blues dugout and watches it fall foul.
Hansen gonna get familiar with Hueso. Both UC Davis Aggies next season. Hansen transferring over from Yuba College. Hueso pitched his first year there last year, will return this year.
Hueso so far has the bragging rights. He got Hansen to ground out to short in the second, and Hansen grounded right back to Hueso for a double play to end the fourth. 0-1 here in the seventh, and Hansen takes it outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. You ever do that where you play against a guy and then they transfer and play with you, either at the high school level, college level?
I've seen it a lot in summer ball, actually. And you know the guy, and you've worked out with each other. You've done live at-bats in the off-season. And depending on who it is and the personality, you can't help but smile at them sometimes.
It's like Little League going up against your friend.
Yeah.
Grins on both your faces. 1-2 count. And Hansen pops it up on the shallow infield. Who's it going to be on the middle? It's the shortstop Reese who calls for it, crosses the plane of the second base bag, and makes the one-handed catch for the first out. So with Hansen retired, up comes Jake Bold. Bold is 0 for 2. Grounded out to third base in the second. Struck out in the fifth. One of 3 strikeouts for Hueso, who he might have a chance to finish out this game with how quickly and efficiently he's pitching. 0-0. And Bold hits a liner into center field. That's a base hit for the catcher. And Bold takes a turnaround first. He's aboard with 1 out.
Some solid contact coming out of the Blues dugout. This is a hard hit single up the middle for Jake Bold. Reese doesn't even have a chance on it. Kind of just threw his glove out there, and Bold's aboard with a base hit.
I feel like this is the opportunities where Hueso has been his best. He gives up hits, maybe early in an inning, early in a count, and then immediately he'll just get an out, and then he'll get the next one.
Yeah,
he doesn't dwell.
If we were to stay on that theme too, you would see a ground ball from DeCarlo. Hopefully that doesn't happen for the Blues here. Just keeping the ball in the air as he's done today. Flew out to left in his last at-bat, doubled in the first one. So if he can just keep that approach, keep the ball in the air, the wind's still blowing out to left field. So you can still lift it to left center.
DeCarlo's got home run pop. Saw it in his first game where he launched a homer to left for the Blues. 0-1, taken off for second is Bold. He bluffs, and now the back pick comes back from Myers, and it's not in time. Hold your horses there, Jake. Watch out.
Yeah, he took the shuffle, go, but then right on the go, thought he shouldn't have gone, had to throw on the brakes and went back to first.
Shuffle, oh, wait.
Yeah, not a good place to be stuck in, especially if you have catcher speed.
The pitch, that is outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count on Sam DeCarlo, who's now 3 for 15 with 2 extra base hits for the Blues, the double and the home run. 1-2 on the way. And DeCarlo pops it up. Again, backwards on the infield. Back goes Myers towards his own dugout, and he overruns it. Falls just in front of the third baseman, Felix. So a second life for DeCarlo, still 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It was a weird play. It looks like Myers saw that for quite a while. In the last second, just pulled up and put his head down. The ball just fell right behind him.
Well, he got up really confident and chased it all the way back towards his own dugout, and you could just see him slow up and realized he overran it. And one of the worst feelings as a catcher. Those plays are never easy, but for how quickly he recognized it to not get to the right spot, he's probably kicking himself behind the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Bolds at first. The pitch to DeCarlo is fouled. Again, fouled on the first base line, just a little bit out of play. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes.
DeCarlo fighting off those pitches he doesn't like that much, but he knows could be called for strikes had he were to take them. So he's doing a good job spoiling those away, and he just wants to get a pitch he likes here.
DeCarlo, the 5'9", 175-pound infielder from Long Beach. 9-hole hitter for the Blues today. 1-2. And DeCarlo takes it way outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2022 Moore League Co-Player of the Year. As a senior at Millikan High School before making the decision to go play for the Huskies, who enjoyed themselves a nice season this past year. 2-2 on the way. And DeCarlo flies it to right. Ranging towards the line is Reginato. He now comes in a little further and right in front of the foul line makes the catch.
Yeah, DeCarlo was hoping that at-bat would pay off for him. It was a good battle. Swinging at pitches, he was spoiling pitches away, taking ones he didn't like, ones that if one was in their head a little more and maybe slumping, they'd swing at for a strikeout. But he was a good job being disciplined, but didn't pay off for him, and he popped out to right.
So here's Nin Burns, top of the order, and Burns takes the fastball high, 1 ball and no strikes. Burns has flown out 3 times, and you feel like he's maybe right on the verge of cracking one a little harder. Fly out to left the first time. He's flown out to right his last 2 at-bats. 1-0. And Burns takes the changeup. Beautiful pitch on the outside corner, 1-1.
Yeah, and Burns is a slugger. You know, he can put it in the air. He's got the power. He was slugging .506 last year at Cal Poly Pomona. Wants to live there again.
1-1. Big swing and a miss. Looked like a little sword action there. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen with that swing too. Not only was it a sword, a half swing, but he was under it again. He's been doing that a lot lately this summer, getting a little too big.
Bold takes off for second. The 1-2 is high. Throw down from Myers, and he can't get the opposing catcher, Jake Bold, into second with a stolen base. Catchers can run too.
So now it's extra important that Nin Burns here needs to shorten up, because you don't got to do a whole lot. Just nicely place it in the gap. Bold doesn't have atrocious speed, as we saw right there. He just stole a bag. Just shorten up a bit.
2-2. Burns takes strike 3 called on the outside corner. It's the 4th strikeout from Huevo, and it ends the 7th. He's dominated the Blues through 7 innings. As we head to the top of the 8th, it is 6-2 Humboldt Crabs. Eighth inning from Sinsheimer Stadium. Cubby Cortez due to lead things off for the Crabs, who lead your San Luis Obispo Blues by a score of 6-2. It's 9-1-2 in the Humboldt order. Cortez, McKernan, and Reginato against Caden Tynes, who's out for his second full inning of work. It hasn't been the day for the Blues. Game moving quickly here at Sinsheimer Stadium, and the Crabs all over San Luis Obispo as Tynes starts off Cortez with a way high breaking ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Cortez has reached his last 2 times, a single in the 4th, hit by pitch in the 6th. First time against Tynes, the 1-0 is popped up straight back. Bold gonna rip the helmet off and head back to the netting, but it's out of play right behind the screen. And 1 ball and 1 strike. So Cortez is 1 for 2 with the hit by pitch. Was the team captain for the Clayton Valley Ugly Eagles in high school. Member of the football and baseball teams, a team that won the Diablo Foothill League title. 1-1. Cortez takes it outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. So the Ugly Eagles were not ashamed of their name whatsoever. There's a photo online of Cortez in the Clayton Valley uniforms, and the uniforms are orange and blue, and the white script across the front, the lone word that it reads is ugly in cursive font. They just portray it right across the front of their jerseys. No shame whatsoever. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count on the Clayton Valley grad. The pitch. And Cortez takes the changeup high. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Cortez, 6 foot, 180 pounds, from Antioch, California. Tynes looking to avoid walking the leadoff hitter here. 3-2. And Cortez rips a liner right to the shortstop, Hardy. That's the second time Cortez has done that today. And there is 1 out. First bat. In the second, Cortez just ripped a liner, same spot, and Hardy caught it on the backhand. It's deja vu here from Sinsheimer Stadium. There's 1 out here in the 8th inning, back to the top of the order for the Crabs. Here's Mike McKernan. 0 for 4, but does have a run batted in. That came on a ground out back in the 6th with a runner at third. 0-0. And the leadoff hitter takes a big breaking ball on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. McKernan from Fresno State. Played in 26 games as a freshman this past year. Here comes the 0-1. And McKernan, big swing and a miss at the breaking ball, 0-2. McKernan played at Mount Whitney High School. First team all-conference 3 times at the high school level. And went on to play at College of the Sequoias before ending up at Fresno State where he is now. 0-2 pitch. Chopped right back to Tynes, a big chopper. He fields it underhand, throws to first. It's just in time to get him by a step. McKernan hit that ball so high there was almost no time for Tynes, but he gets the second out here in the 8th. Big chopper makes McKernan 0 for 5. The leadoff man has not paced the Crabs today, yet they've still put up 6 runs. Here's a guy that kind of has. Wyatt Reginato, 2 singles, a line out to center, and a walk. He's had 4 great at-bats. 0-0 pitch. Reginato takes the breaking ball outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Wyatt Reginato came from West Valley High School. Career .357 hitter there before going to Folsom Lake College. And he's really hit at every level he's played at so far. 1-0. And Reginato takes it low. 2 balls and no strikes. 6'1", 215-pound utility player as listed by the Crabs from Cottonwood, California. Tynes now away from finishing the 8th and going 1-2-3 for the first time for the Blues as Reginato takes outside, 3 balls and no strikes. On deck is Colby Lunsford if Reginato were to reach here with 2 outs. From the stretch, first base side of the rubber, Tynes sets and delivers. And Reginato takes the fastball right down Broadway. 3 balls and 1 strike. The Blues didn't lose a series in non-league play in the preseason. They have played a 3-game series in that stretch, lost Game 1 to the Solano Mudcats. They're not in unprecedented territory here, but they'd love to come back and take Game 1 as Tynes misses way outside and Reginato is on base for the 4th time. So with 2 outs, it's a base runner. Another inning where the Blues can't go 1-2-3. The Crabs' offense has just been relentless. They've had a base runner in every inning. They've scored so far at least in 5 of the 7 innings. And now they get a base runner with 2 outs. So the batter now, Colby Lunsford. 0-0 pitch, and Lunsford takes low, 1 ball and no strikes. So 1-0 count on the second baseman from Consumnes River. 2 walks today and a single. He's also flown out to right. 1 for 2. Pick to first is not in time to get Reginato. Good move from Tynes in a close play, but not in time to get the right fielder from Folsom Lake. So Tynes focuses up back on the batter. Lunsford has also scored a run today. Pitch from Tynes, and Lunsford was completely bailing out of the box, but fouled that one off. 1 ball and 1 strike. Colby Lunsford, 5'11", 185-pound infielder from Grass Valley, California. Went to Bear River High School, entering his junior year. Another pick to first. Reginato, another big lead, but still gets back in safe. So Tynes is showing off his A move here in the 8th inning. And why not? Try and pick off Reginato at first, but eventually got to focus back up on the hitter Lunsford. He does the pitch, and that's in the dirt. Nice block by Bull. 2 balls and 1 strike. Crabs, the oldest continually operating summer collegiate team in America. They were founded in 1945, and they've been going strong for upwards of 70 years. 2-1 on the 3-hole hitter. Here it comes. It's the slider, and it's in there. Strike 2 called. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs with the runner at first. It's the second CCL series for Humboldt. Earlier this week, they were swept by the Walnut Creek Crawdads across 2 games. Chance for their first CCL win here today. And they're well in front, 6-2. The pitch is fouled away from Lunsford. Bailed out of the way again, but still caught a piece. That sweep by the Crawdads ended a 9-game win streak by the Crabs, who came into this game 10-4 so far in the summer of 2023. Here's the 2-2. Lunsford hits it to center. Pop up, and Burns rages into the left center field gap, puts his glove up to make the final catch in the inning. We're through 7.5 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Blues have some work to do on offense as we head bottom 8. It is 6-2 Humboldt. 3-4 due up for the Blues in the bottom of the 8th. Jacob Ruley, Theo Hardy, Emilio Corona, and they get a gift. Alejandro Hueso is out of this game after 7 innings of just dominant pitching on the mound for the Crabs. He went 7 full, gave up just 6 hits, no errors behind him, 2 runs only on 1 walk and a hit by pitch. He just sliced and diced the Blues through his 7 innings. But now it's the new righty Benji Tucker, 6'1", 195-pound right-hander from Sacramento State. Had a 9.9 ERA this past season in 10 innings pitched. Gave up 20 hits and walked 5. So that's a whip at 2.5. Not what you want to see for a right-hander, but he takes over from Hueso with a 4-run lead for the Crabs. Crossover step for the righty. He kicks and deals to Ruley. That's in there for a strike. But Hueso looked like he might have been able to go even deeper into this game. Done after 7, and it's the new righty in, Benji Tucker, as Ruley flies it foul down the first base line. No balls and 2 strikes. Ruley flew out to right in the first, struck out in the 3rd, and flew out to center in the 6th. Tucker from the stretch. Long hold, he kicks and deals. And Ruley takes it low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Benji Tucker from Milton, Georgia. Comes from a big athletic family. His mother, Adrian, a pole vaulter for Fresno State and the Canadian national team. Picked up baseball from his father, Ben, who played for USC and the San Francisco Giants. As Tucker misses outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. His brother, Nate, a world record Paralympic gold medalist in the 1600 meter. And 2 grandfathers that both played sports. His grandfather, Jim, played in the NHL, and Ruley takes that inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. His grandfather, Ben, won a national championship at lacrosse and Navy. So how about that? How many sports did I just list off from the Tucker family? 3 balls, 2 strikes on Jacob Ruley, who's trying to reach here to start the 8th. Tucker deals, and Ruley strikes out swinging. Second K of the day for Ruley is the first out here in the 8th. Tucker has a walk problem as a righty, but in a 3-2 count there, he went with the perfect pitch to get Ruley to chase at the top of the zone. And now Theo Hardy, who has not been retired today, comes to the plate. Hardy 2 singles and hit by pitch. He's 2 for 2, reached all 3 times. Comes up here in the bottom of the 8th, 1 out. And Hardy swings and misses. Big hack. No balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count on the reigning CCL South hitter of the week. Theo Hardy, shortstop from San Jose State. 0-1 is outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Coming into this game, Benji Tucker had thrown 5 innings for the Crabs across 4 games played, in that 5 walks. 1-1. Hardy is hit for the 2nd straight time. That one hurt a little bit more. He jogs down to first. He's reached base in each of his 4 plate appearances, and he's a base runner here in the 8th. Looked like it caught Hardy in the foot, maybe the ankle, as Dean Traynor waltzes out of the dugout a little bit to check on his shortstop, and he will make the trek to first. Hardy waves him off, says, "I'm okay." He's been here before. He was hit in the 6th. And that one was more of a glancing blow. This one looked like it caught him right on top of the foot. But he's fine. He's on base. As the Blues need base runners, they trail by 4 runs here in the bottom of the 8th, and the batter is Emilio Corona. Corona tripled in the first. Since then, he's been out the last 2 times. His last at-bat, though, hit a deep fly ball to center field. I feel like he's just an inch away on some of these swings from absolutely nailing a home run, his first for the Blues, as he takes that one on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Corona is really one of the best athletes that San Luis Obispo has produced recently. Went on to have a fantastic season this past year at Arizona, OPS over 1,000. Also, when he was in San Luis Obispo as a native, one heck of a football player. So he rolls that to third, and the throw from the third baseman is wide to the second baseman, Lunsford. Hardy is safe at second, and Corona's safe at first. So it's an error on the third baseman, Felix. There's some confusion going on. I think the Blues were trying to argue the play at second, but they got the call. And now Dean Traynor's going out. Everything's going crazy here. It was a bad throw by Felix, the third baseman. And I struggle to believe that Lunsford, the second baseman, kept his foot on the bag. I think Dean Traynor out to argue a call. I'm not sure where. I was so focused on the call at second. I don't know if they called Corona out at first. I don't know if they called Hardy out at second. There's a chance here that the Blues get benefit from an error and will have first and second, one out. There's also a chance that maybe this is an inning-ending double play. Dean Traynor trying to plead his case. We'll find out in a second what the call is. Felix caught the weird hop ground ball and immediately turned to try and get the lead runner Hardy at second. Made the errant throw. Lunsford, I thought it might have been by him into right field, but did enough to collect it. With how far he had to move, I'm not sure he kept his foot on the bag at second. Little drama here in the 8th inning. The Blues trail it by 4. They'll take all the base runners they can get, and they're hoping for the call here. And Dean Traynor is arguing out there at second. And now, Robin Guyver, the manager for the Crabs, is out as well. Who knows here in the 8th? And the Blues just know they want some base runners. But anyways, talking about Corona, we just saw the speed of him running to first. He was a 3-sport athlete at San Luis Obispo High School. First team all-conference in baseball as a junior and a senior. Second team all-conference in basketball as a senior. And the SLO County MVP as a senior in football when he set the SLO High School single-season touchdown record, 52 touchdowns in one season at San Luis Obispo High School. So the call seems to be that Hardy's out at second. That's the second out of the inning. And Corona's staying at first. I'm not sure how Lunsford kept his foot on the bag whatsoever. The boos are coming out here at Sinsheimer from the fans that have stayed late in this contest. The throw was so wide that Lunsford had to lunge for it. I'm not sure how at all he kept his foot on the bag. But the ruling is that he did. So with 2 outs, the batter is Zach Tollerman. Tollerman's reached his last 2 times, a single and a walk, and he takes that one low. 1 ball and no strikes. So Corona grounds into the fielder's choice, and Hardy is retired at second. Runner at first with 2 outs for the Blues. 1-0. Tollerman takes on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. But back to Corona. The Blues coaching staff talking about, well, he's so good at baseball, but easily if he wanted to, he could have been a Division I quarterback. That's how good Emilio Corona was at football. 1-1. Tollerman takes it low and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. So Benji Tucker, a guy that might have a walk problem, behind on Zach Tollerman 2-1. The Blues could really use some free 90s. There just have not been many here today. 2 hit by pitches and a walk, but that's been it. As Tollerman takes a big hack. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tollerman, a guy that drew plenty of walks in the non-league games preseason. How about 12 of them and 9 overall games for the team, and he didn't even appear in all of them. He was drawing sometimes 2 or 3 walks a game. 2-2. He takes inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Corona will run from first. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And the SLO native will get a head start. 3-2, 2 outs. Tucker's pitch. Corona takes off, and Tollerman chops it over the head of the pitcher. In comes the third baseman, Felix, and he tries for the short hop, and it bounces off his glove. Corona running all the way as around to third. It's first and third with 2 outs on a chopped single from Zach Tollerman. Sometimes you don't have to hit it all that hard. You just have to hit it high enough. And Tollerman chopped it so high that Felix, the third baseman, had to just stab at it to try and have any chance at fielding the short hop. He didn't, and Corona's base running puts himself 90 feet away from scoring for the Blues. Here's Justin Trimble. Blues have the potential tying run on deck here with 2 outs in the 8th. Empty bullpen for the Crabs. This is Tucker's inning. Justin Trimble takes a ball outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Trimble today has swung the bat well. 2 lineouts to left his last 2 times up. Trying to keep that opposite field approach, find a gap this time. As he slices it deep into center field. Back goes McKernan. He's looking up. It is over the wall. Out of here. That liner never stopped, and Justin Trimble's got his first home run for the Blues in 2023 at 6'5". Wow. Justin Trimble goes the opposite way. This time it's over the fence. And just like that, the Blues are within one. I thought that ball was going to stop, and it just never did. What a shot from Justin Trimble. What looked like a liner to center ends up over the wall in the deepest part of the yard. And he has brought the Blues within one. Here's Jason Hansen, who represents the tying run, as that is in there for a strike. We talk about Trimble's power all the time. 3 of his 6 collegiate hits, home runs. That's his first hit as a Blue, and it leaves the yard. 0-1. Hansen has to skip out of the way of that. Inside fastball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, the tables can turn just like that. The Blues within a run. The tying run at the plate as Benji Tucker tarnishing the outing that came from Alejandro Huezo in his first inning of relief. Hansen takes strike 1. Strike 2 on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Scoreboard's off here at Sinsheimer Stadium. It reads 2-1, but 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tucker needs a strike to get out of this inning. He fires from the stretch, and Hansen hits a fly ball down the right field line, hooking, and it falls foul. A weird nubber off the bat of Hansen, more of a pop-up than a fly ball, and it falls foul. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. So 2 straight hits with 2 outs for the Blues. Tollerman's chop single, the home run from Justin Trimble have brought the Blues within 1 run. This is a big at-bat for Jason Hansen. He represents the tying run. If he can reach, you put pressure on the Crabs with Jake Bold on deck. 1-2, and Hansen checks his swing on that belt music fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So far inside that Hansen almost swung just to protect himself, but he held back. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Blues' 3rd extra base hit of the day, and the home run from Trimble, who changed this game with just 1 swing. 2-2. And Hansen checks his swing. Inside fastball, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Trimble, a second-year Blue with that home run. Played for the Blues a couple years ago, coming out of Arroyo Grande High School, and now back with San Luis Obispo. His first hit, a 3-run home run here in the 8th. Payoff pitch. This is a big pitch. Here it comes. And Hansen chops it up the middle. The second baseman, Lunsford, to the backhand. He throws low in time to get Hansen. The Blues put up 3 in the inning. Big home run from Justin Trimble. And it's a brand new ball game. We head to the 9th. It's a 1-run game. Don't go anywhere. Here on the SLO Blues Streaming Network. been treated to a good one now. It's a one-run game in the 9th inning, as here's the heart of the order for the Crabs. Billy Ham, Griffin Myers, Luke Reese due up against Caden Tynes here in the 9th. The Blues within a run on the Justin Trimble home run in the 8th inning. 3-run shot to deep center field on a line. Tynes out and misses outside to Ham. 1 ball and no strikes. Had a chance to talk with Justin Trimble before today's game. He's just one of the nicest guys on the team. And he was telling me the story of his recruitment to the Blues this year. As Ham swings and misses a sword. Sheathe that. 1 ball and 1 strike. Trimble told me that Steve Tolley, who was his head coach at Arroyo Grande High School when he played his high school ball, ran into Trimble's mom in a coffee shop. As there's a change-up on the outside corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes. But anyways, Tolley runs into Trimble's mom in the coffee shop, and they get to talking, and he's like, man, it would be nice to have Justin come play for the Blues this summer again. And, as here's the 1-2. Curveball, strike 3 called. 1 out in the 9th. Anyways, Trimble's mom goes, well, I'd love to have Justin at home, and ended up working out where Justin signed. He's playing with the Blues this summer, and he's living at home. So Steve Tolley's happy, the Blues are happy, Mom's happy, which I think is the most important part. As Justin Trimble gets to live at home, commute from home to these games, and spend a little more time with family. You know, some guys, they go so far to play summer ball. I mean, we've got 2 players from Tulane on the Blues, who Louisiana natives. I was talking with Jacob LaPrairie earlier, and he's all the way across the country playing a summer ball. So big difference, but to be able to live at home is a big deal, and I'm sure it feels nice for Trimble's family to have him at home and to see him hit the home run in the 8th inning. So after the Ham strikeout, here's Griffin Myers, the catcher from Washington State, with 1 out here in the 9th. Myers takes the breaking ball outside, 1 ball and no strikes. And Justin told me that, you know, he's just so excited to be in his hometown playing for the Blues for his 2nd season. Played for them coming out of high school and loved the experience then, and he's loving it now. 2 balls, no strikes on Griffin Myers, who was walked, singled. He's 1 for 3. (2-0) on the dangerous Washington State catcher. Tynes delivers. And there's a liner over the glove of Trimble, the first baseman, into right field. It's a hit for Myers, and a base runner on with 1 out here in the 9th. So now a meeting at the, I guess, in between the mound and home plate. 2nd of the inning between Bold and Caden Tynes. Maybe discussing potential signs that Bold is putting down, but with 1 out, there's a base runner on. Griffin Myers with his 2nd hit of the day. The batter is Luke Reese. He's got 1 hit and a sacrifice fly. Singled and scored in the 2nd. Sac fly with an RBI in the 3rd. Since then, a fly out to right and a strikeout. Now he stands in. 1 out, a runner on. The pitch. Reese checks his swing, but still goes around. Tips it off the glove of Bold. No balls and 1 strike. So 0-1 the count. Myers with his leadoff first. Tynes delivers, and Reese takes it low. It bounces off Bold, but not far enough to let Myers take 2nd. 1 ball and 1 strike. Runner stays at first. The official ruling, too, on the home run from Trimble. I mean, we said it was a screaming liner that just never stopped. 101 miles an hour off the bat. Ended up 407 feet to center field. 1-1. Big curveball in there. Strike 2 called. If that doesn't show you the power that the SLO native first baseman has, I'm not sure what will. As it's by far the deepest home run the Blues have hit here at home. In fact, it's only the 2nd that the Blues have launched out of Sinsheimer Stadium. 1-2. Another big curveball lifted to left, but right at Rulli, who now breaks in. He can't find it. It was a deke. Jacob Rulli tried to deke out Myers from first. That shows you the veteran nature of Jacob Rulli. Wanted to make Myers think he couldn't find it, as we've seen so common here at Sinsheimer. And right at the last second, he made the catch and flipped it in. He knows what he's doing out there in left, and there's 2 outs. So Javier Felix comes up. Blues trying to go to the bottom of the ninth, just the 1-run deficit as Tynes delivers, and that's fouled straight back. No balls and 1 strike on the third baseman from CSUN, who's reached his last 2 times. A walk in the 6th, scored a run, single in the 7th, also a sac fly back in the 2nd for Felix. Tynes has been money since coming in relief of Stewart after his tough inning. Got the strikeout there, and he's worked the last 2 2/3 as well. 1 more out to finish the 9th. He kicks and deals, and Felix takes inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. One and 1 the count on the third baseman from CSUN. The pitch is the big curveball again. Strike 2 call on the outside corner, and Tynes is a strike away from getting the Blues right back in the dugout. Blues want a chance to walk things off. 1-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Big curveball once again as Caden Tynes dominates from the pen and brings the Blues back up in the bottom of the 9th. When we come back, the Blues are coming up with a chance to tie or walk things off here at Sinsheimer Stadium. It'll be Jake Bold, Sam DiCarlo, and Nin Burns with a 1-run deficit here on the SLO Blues streaming network. Well, here we go. Bottom of the 9th on the SLO Blues streaming network. A chance for the Blues to tie or walk things off in the 9th inning, trailing by 1, but they'll have to go through a tough arm. It's the right-hander Brady Chavez from Cabrillo College who comes in toting a 0 ERA so far for the Crabs this year. 12 innings pitched so far this summer. He's only given up a handful of hits, about 21 strikeouts to only 1 walk from the right-hander. He's been the closer, at least so far, for the Crabs. Doesn't have a save yet, but comes into this save opportunity. The Blues have clawed closer after the home run from Justin Trimble last inning brought them within a run. Caden Tynes kept things scoreless in the top half of this inning, and now a chance for the Blues to tie or walk things off. Jake Bold, Sam DiCarlo, Nin Burns due up for the Blues. Chavez, a Santa Cruz, California native, has had 2 great years at Cabrillo College these last 2 years. A career 2.89 ERA so far across 56 innings pitched. He's also been a two-way player. He's had 186 at-bats, and he's hit 333. Look at that. A right-hander, Brady Chavez, deals to Bold. And Bold takes outside. 1 ball and no strikes. It's going to be tough if the Blues want to come back. Chavez has only allowed 4 hits in the 12 innings. Only the 1 walk, so he's not going to let you get there for free. As Bold takes outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Though there is a little bit of nerves. There are a little bit of nerves for the Crabs. They've blown leads the last 2 games against the Crawdads. Part of that 2-game sweep at the hand of their Shellfish partners. 2-0 on the way to Bold. And that is in there. Strike 1 call at the top of the zone. 2 balls and 1 strike. Bold so far today is 1 for 3. Singled his last time up back in the 7th. 2-1. And he flies this one on a line down the first base line, out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 6'1", 195 right-hand senior. Even in the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes with the Princeton catcher who has to tie his shoe. Double knot it, Jake, here in the 9th. Bold trying to reach and put the tying run on base for the Blues here in the 9th inning. On deck is Sam DiCarlo. Chavez works from the windup. Fiddles with his glove, now comes home. And Bold hits the fly ball to right, hooking away from Reginato, and he makes the catch, ranging towards the foul line. Looked like danger off the bat of Bold. Instead, it's out number 1 here in the 9th inning. Bold thought he had a base hit. Could have been extra bases, and Reginato had to make the risky play, try and catch that one in the air, and he did. For the first out here in the 9th, the batter now Sam DiCarlo. DiCarlo's seen the ball well. Doubled his last time up in the 3rd. Since then, 2 flyouts to the corner outfield. With 1 out, the 9-hole hitter steps up. Chavez deals, and DiCarlo takes strike 1. No balls and 1 strike on the outside corner. Chavez has 46 strikeouts in 56 innings at the collegiate level, but he's ratcheted things up to a whole nother level here for Humboldt. DiCarlo at the last second sprays it foul. No balls and 2 strikes. 21 strikeouts in 12 innings. Been dominant for Chavez. A whip at just .417. Here's the 0-2. And DiCarlo takes it way outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes off the shin guard of Myers. Well, DiCarlo has a propensity to get on base. Did so in his first season with Washington. Walked 30 times on top of the 45 hits he generated in 54 games. 1-2 on the way. DiCarlo takes upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Close, breaking ball. But Chavez doesn't get the call. DiCarlo also a guy that could tie this game with 1 swing. 7 home runs, most of any freshman at Washington this past year. 2-2. Strike 3 on the swing and miss. DiCarlo chases in the dirt, and just like that, 2 outs in the 9th inning. So DiCarlo with the big hack on that fastball in the dirt, and now things left up to Nin Burns. The Blues down to their last out in the bottom of the 9th inning. Nin Burns still looking for his first hit today. Hasn't reached base. 3 flyouts and a strikeout looking his last time up. 0-0. And Burns takes upstairs with the changeup. 1 ball and no strikes. Burns has been the leader of this team. Leadoff hitter just about every game he's played. As he takes inside again. 2 balls and no strikes. And he's a guy, if the Blues can get 1 runner on, you can handpick him. It would be Nin Burns with the amount of speed he has. Ahead in the count 2-0. Pitch from Chavez. And Burns taps it back into the glove of Myers. 2 balls and 1 strike. We say it all the time. A walk to Burns is almost a double every time. 9 stolen bases so far this summer. 2-1. Way inside. Watch out. 3 balls and 1 strike on the leadoff hitter from Cal Poly Pomona. There was some heat behind that fastball, and Burns had to watch it whiz past his helmet. 3-1. Is outside. Just the 2nd walk of the summer for Chavez. And the Blues have a base runner here with 2 outs. Now do the Blues have the guts to send Burns from first? You have Jacob Ruley coming up, who's 0 for 4 with 2 flyouts and 2 strikeouts. But with the tying run in on base at first with Nin Burns and the amount of speed he has, you could try and think about sending him to try and get a runner in scoring position. The Crabs looking to avoid deja vu. They've blown leads in their last 2 games, and now the Blues have the tying run aboard. 0-0 is outside. It's a breaking ball again. 1 ball and no strikes. Ruley, a .304 hitter at Cal State Bakersfield this past season. Had 4 home runs. Knocked in 15 across 21 starts. 1-0. Ruley flies it foul, backing out of play. Got a good hack off. Couldn't keep it fair. 1 ball and 1 strike. And Ruley has dominated non-league play so far this summer for the Blues. 6 hits, 5 runs batted in, and the just a couple of non-league games he played in the preseason. Burns it first. We'll see if he takes off. Chavez working from the stretch for the first time. He kicks and deals, and Rulli takes. Strike 2 called on the outside corner. Blues are down to their last strike. Fans clap it up for the Blues. They're ready here at Sinsheimer Stadium to leap out of their seats if the Blues can at least tie this game up, maybe grab a win here in the 9th inning. As Rulli rearranges his batting gloves, prepares to step back in against Chavez. The fearless closer for the Humboldt Crabs needs a strike to finish this one. He delivers. Burns takes off. Rulli strikes out swinging, and that's the game. The Crabs come into Sinsheimer Stadium and get a win in Game 1 of this 3-game series as Rulli strikes out and now has a word with the closer Chavez, jawing back and forth still as Rulli won't leave the diamond. The Blues drop Game 1 here of this 3-game series, and Humboldt gets the win they desperately needed. It's a 6-5 final. Crabs defeat the Blues here from Sinsheimer Stadium, and now the entire Blues dugout is coming up. The Blues dugout is coming out to chat, I guess, with the Crabs. Dean Traynor involved in this, so we might get some kind of scuffle here at Sinsheimer Stadium. It was a back-and-forth game. The Crabs led it all the way, but the Blues came close. Jacob Rulli still won't leave. I'm not sure if anything's really going to happen here. Chavez still chatting, and the Crabs and Blues get closer and closer. There's 2 more games to be played in this series. We hope things don't escalate further between these 2 squads. As the 2 teams, as you see there, shake hands. It looks like everything will be all right. Final score, 6-5 from Sinsheimer Stadium. The Crabs grab Game 1 from the San Luis Obispo Blues, who have lost 3 in a row. Coach is still discussing something, and Jacob Rulli now still continuing in this conversation. But we'll send it home there from Sinsheimer Stadium. Stay tuned. We hope to have an intern interview later in this one. A 6-5 final here from Sinsheimer. It's fine if you can't. Do you want to come up? Blues fans, we're back on the SLO Blues streaming network after Blues drop a tough 1 6-5, but that just means we get to do an intern interview, and I'm joined by Anna Kriowski, Director of Game Day Operations, the big dog here for the San Luis Obispo Blues. Kind of the head of all interns on in your second season with the Blues. What's been your favorite part, and what have you loved so much about this season?
Just enjoying time with everyone who's here and learning about what everyone's doing here at the Blues. I love all of our interns. I think they're working really hard. I think that they don't get enough credit for how hard they're working. I love meeting you and all of our press box people. They're doing a great job. And all of our players, too, they're doing so well. And I think that they're having a little rough time right now. I think we're going into a little bit of a, not a good little stretch that's happening, but I think we'll do good once we come out of it. And I really enjoy, having the hometown feel too from some of the guys that I used to, go to high school with, and I really enjoy that. So it's really fun.
Wait, so Director of Game Day Operations is a big deal. 9 straight games at home. You're going to walk the viewers through a kind of a normal day, setting up the field, breaking down the field. What's a normal day in the life of a Director of Game Day Operations?
Yeah, so, it's so much fun. I love it. Every day I come in, I play water polo, and I'm training all the time. So this is like a really good break for me. So I get to come in, I get to, set up the whole entire field, talk to you guys, like have a lot of people time and good interactions that I normally wouldn't really have. And it's still sports, which is what I want to do, which is what I love to do, but it's a different kind of interaction instead of like, the sports aspect of like competing. And we set up things every time that we come in. I kind of tell everybody what to do, which is, something I like doing. I like to lead, but I also like to have a lot of friends. So I like to make sure that I'm doing that as well. We try to make sure that everything's set up in a good amount of time and the players are having fun, but also to make sure that we want to win too. All the on-game field things are super fun. So I love doing that too.
Is water polo where you gained your love of sports, or is that one that you kind of picked up along the way?
So when I was little, I used to play volleyball, and I used to do a lot of things. My family is a huge sport family, but also not at the same time. We're kind of low-key about it, but we also love sports. But I used to grow up as a Chargers fan. I'm a huge Chargers fan, Clippers fan, and a Padres fan. So kind of a different plethora, but I'm going to be going to Cal Baptist University. I'm going to be playing in LA, Riverside. So I'm going to be down there with the Clippers and the Los Angeles Chargers now instead of the San Diego Chargers, but I grew up as a San Diego Chargers fan. So we've grew up as a sports family, and I've always loved it. But when I grew up, it was more of like a love for the game instead of like a competition. And so when I grew up, it was kind of hard because there was a huge competition within volleyball, and it was really hard for me because a lot of the girls weren't very nice. Mm-hmm. But when I started playing water polo, it was different. It was like a love for the game, but it was also, competition, which was exactly what I needed. And I also grew up playing with guys too, which was exactly what I needed because now I still play with guys, and now I still do that, and I swim as well, which is what I did when I was growing up. And volleyball and swimming were the like exact match that I needed for water polo. So it was the perfect match. So I loved it.
It sounds like you're speaking to me like a sports psychologist, which I guess is a good thing that you're going to be studying that at Cal Baptist. Yes. What was the thing that made you want to go into that, and what do you hope to gain out of that at CBU?
So I was a kinesiology major to begin with when I went to Cuesta, and I loved the aspect of medical. I was a huge Grey's Anatomy fan, and I loved all of that, and I really wanted to kind of go into that field because my uncle, who is a medical practitioner and also works with my dad, he does that, and I really loved it, and I really loved listening to him and hearing about all of that. And when I went into college, I really wanted to kind of find that because I also love sports. But I also want to go into that. And my dad's an attorney, and I really wanted to kind of, find my way myself. But I wanted to be an attorney as well at some point. But medical was really what I wanted to do with the love of, like, Grey's Anatomy and stuff like that. So kinesiology was kind of the middle point. I was able to be in sports, and I was able to, be in the medical field. Then I kind of found out that maybe, medical was not really what I wanted to do. It's kind of a lot of school. Didn't really want to be a surgeon, didn't really want to do that, too much school for me. So when I was in COVID, one of my teachers, Miss Gasanica, she was teaching us about different fields in the psychology field because I was taking AP psychology. and sports psychology was one of them. And it really just spoke to me, and I was taking kinesiology at the same time. I loved it. And sports psychology is basically kinesiology and psychology mixed into one, and it is just the perfect combination of both of them. And I was just in love with that fact. And, like, just the idea of being able to do what I want to do and stay in sports forever and, like, give to people like these boys that play with us. Like, they need some sports psychologists. They need to know, like, what it is to be heard and be, like, accepted, and know that it's okay to feel this way, and know that, like, you can have an off day, but you can still come back the next day and just, like, come at it and just go for it and win. But you don't have to, you know, come back the next day and just be so defeated. Like, you can come back, have fun, and do what you love to do, and that's just why I wanted to come here.
Well,
So
feels like that applies to everyone, too. But
Exactly.
you could go from director of game day operations to maybe the first
Yes.
ever director of sports psychology for the Blues. But to finish
Exactly.
this one off, I guess it's only asked to the big dogs. I want to hear your pitch to fans why they should come out here. 8 straight home games in a row. Why should they come out to Sinsheimer Stadium to watch the Blues?
you guys should come out to Sinsheimer because it is not just only a game of baseball, but it is a game for all of the fans. We put on a show here. We put on a show for all the fans. We love seeing you out here, and we just have such a fun time. You see all of the on-field promotions that we do every day, and we just love doing it for you. We are here for you. We are not here for the baseball. We love baseball, but we are here for you guys, and we win every day when you guys show up for us. So please come to our games. We are here tomorrow night and Sunday, and we have a 9-day streak coming up, so please come to all of our games.
Well, the Blues didn't get the win today. It was a 6-5 loss to the Humboldt Crabs. Another big crowd on hand, though. A fun game for all involved. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Blues and Crabs, Game 2 of this 3-game series.